October 1st. Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump is vowing to improve the economy for average Americans.
We will get your energy bill, everybody in the audience, including businesses, down by 50% from 1 year from when we take office. And when that happens, everything else is going to follow.
The former president spoke at a campaign rally in Lancaster, Pennsylvania last night. The race for the White House is kicking into high gear 15 days before the election.
On the trail today, Vice President Harris will join former Republican Congresswoman Liz Cheney for a series of campaign events across the Blue Wall battleground states. They'll make stops in Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, and Michigan. Meanwhile, former President Trump is headed to Asheville, North Carolina to see the devastation of Hurricane Helene and deliver remarks. He'll hold a rally in Greensboro tomorrow night. Greg Clugston, the White House.
South Korea has summoned the Russian ambassador to demand the immediate pullout of North Korean troops allegedly deployed in Russia. South Korea's spy agency said last week it had confirmed that North Korea sent 1,500 special operations forces to Russia earlier this month to support Russia's war against Ukraine. For the first time in 43 years, the New York Yankees and Los Angeles Dodgers will meet in the World Series beginning Friday night at Dodger Stadium. L.A. moved into the World Series last night with a 10-5 win over the New York Mets, clinching the National League Championship Series 4-2. On Wall Street, the Dow futures are off 47 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
The instability of our economy after this election has many worried, and stocks and bonds could be the first to collapse. Countless Americans are turning to the safest store of wealth in human history to protect their retirement accounts. Physical precious metals. Gold has been a safe haven asset for generations. At Premier Gold, we specialize in helping those with a 401k, IRA, or other types of retirement accounts convert their vulnerable paper assets into physical gold to protect their hard-earned savings. Today, we'd like to send you a free gold election kit to help you decide if this is right for you. Call 606-800-8000 to claim yours. Act before the election to take advantage of the current rollover policies, allowing for a quick and seamless transfer into physical gold or silver. Don't let the outcome of this election influence the fate of your financial future. Call 606-800-8000 now. Premier Gold is not a financial advisor. Please consult with your advisor before investing. Call 606-800-8000.
Sicily is struck by flooding.
Heavy rain lashed the Italian island of Sicily on Saturday, causing flooding and landslides. The Licata River near Agrigento flooded after the Salso River burst its banks. Firefighters used a helicopter to rescue residents who climbed onto their roofs to escape the rising floodwaters. In Enna, a cliff collapsed, sending large boulders tumbling onto the main road leading to the city. Schools, public gardens and cemeteries were closed in various towns and villages across the island. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
Angry residents attacked the railway guard in his post in a town outside Cairo, Egypt, after a train ran over and killed 2 children crossing a train intersection. A crowd descended on the intersection near the city of Al Ayat, where a train earlier killed 2 children trying to cross. News and analysis at townhall.com. A new contract has been reached for mail delivery workers.
The U.S. Postal Service says it welcomes an agreement reached with the National Association of Letter Carriers Union. The tentative contract agreement still must be ratified by some 200,000 mail delivery workers. The members of the Letter Carriers Union have been working without a contract for more than a year. The deal includes backdated pay raises and the promise that their mail trucks will be updated with air conditioning. Letter carriers who work in cities will see 3 annual pay raises by 2025 and cost of living adjustments. Rural workers are covered by a different union. I'm Jackie Quinn.
An Indigenous senator told King Charles III that Australia is not his land as the British royal visited Australia's parliament. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat.
Yeah, come on.
A feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Monday.
Well,
it's not the weekend anymore.
It is a Monday. You're right.
So,
wow.
First off, I hope everybody's doing okay. And I know it's all clean up now and everything else. We're all putting the pieces back together here. But
man,
I would like to start the morning off and say, if you're hoping to achieve waterfront property, this is not the way to do that. Do not recommend this as the method to do that.
I mentioned yesterday as we were kind of driving around looking at some of the after effects, the debris and whatnot. I wanted it to be cooler, but not like this.
Careful what you wish for.
I mean, my gracious, that was for those who don't know, who are just getting into the area. Yeah, Roswell went through a horrific downpour over the weekend, and honestly, it was interesting because people who I haven't talked to in years
reached out
to see if I was okay.
Yeah,
which was neat, but it's also, I thought we weren't talking anymore. I thought that was I thought that's where we left this.
Well, when it comes to something of this nature, they want to kind of make sure that everyone's okay and everybody's doing all right.
They wanted to make sure that they didn't have to scratch my name off the list with the lipstick like Steve Buscemi.
Yes. Our guest is here, Matt. Yeah. I was some of my guests canceled today. We're going to do, I've reached out. I know we're going to have Brian Luck join us in the 8 o'clock hour on the phone. City Councilor Christina Arnold's going to join us in the 8 o'clock hour as well. She was out and about.
She got
during the storm.
Those were some of the first pictures I saw were of the convention and civic center.
Yeah,
and
her and Juliana Halverson. They were out and about with a lot of video and pictures and things. I shared much of it.
Yeah,
I probably missed some of it because there was such a
you were really putting in a shift yesterday, trying to track down everything to get it shared.
Gene was kind of in the studio doing things, and I thought it best not to come down here.
Sure.
So
I did venture down here once yesterday just to make sure it was traversable.
Yeah.
But beyond that,
yeah. It was.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I got here.
Yeah.
I'm still here.
And I'm left.
There are certain roads. Now, again, this is as of yesterday. There are certain roads that are still pretty waterlogged and impassable.
Anything around the Spring River, the south end, I'm hearing some reports, like down by the base, there's some real rough areas down there still.
Cahoon Park got pretty flooded.
Pretty much, if you know where all the low-lying areas in Roswell are, that's where the major issues are still. People in the north end, at least everything I saw was pretty. I mean, you saw some, leaves and, but no damage. There's not like cars and ditches or anything like that up north. Right around, Convention Center, Roswell Ford, that whole area, which for Roswell Ford, I don't know if you saw some of the stuff online there.
I was there broadcasting.
They're not around anymore. I mean, they're
a week ago.
Yeah.
I drove by and saw a friend of mine, a fellow broadcaster, broadcasting there on Saturday, like literally before all of the nonsense went down.
So they're gonna be out of commission for a bit because they lost pretty much the entire inventory. I'm hearing there's some pretty rough damage to the building itself and things too. So they're obviously prayers for everybody. I've heard of some reports of loss of life. Hopefully not too much more of that we're going to come out. But unfortunately with events like this, when you get a big tragedy like this, sometimes people go missing, and things. And so I imagine there might be another day or two we're still looking and finding things that we're just not finding yet.
We were getting, Ayana was here over the weekend. We were getting reports. She has friends here in town. Some folks who work at Spring River Park and Zoo, for example, of some loss of life out there, both human and animal.
Yeah.
And obviously there was some damage out there to the zoo because that's the low-lying area right next to where the where the Spring River goes through.
It's called Spring River Zoo, and everything by Spring River is having issues today. So it's just that way. So obviously school's closed today.
Yep.
There's going to be a lot of businesses. If you
basically everything Chaves County's closed.
Yeah, Chaves County's closed. As far as city goes, they have moved the trash schedule like a holiday, so you don't have to worry about putting your trash out today. If today was your normal trash day, they're not coming.
Or finding your dumpster if it floated down the road.
Or if it's at the neighbor's house.
Oh, man, there were so many of those.
But I will mention that, in addition, the until further notice, the Roswell Recreation Aquatic Center, the Adult Center, Spring River Zoo,
right,
the library, the Roswell Museum, the Convention Center, the Nancy Lopez Golf Course, and South Park Cemetery are all closed until further notice. That says they do damage assessment, repairs, whatever they got to do to get those back up to snuff.
Right.
Like I mentioned about trash pickup, that's going to be pushed a day. So if Monday's your normal day, it'll now be Tuesday, and Tuesday's your normal day, it'll now be Wednesday. The municipal landfill will be closed today, and municipal court's also closed today. Right. Police department, front desk, and the records department are also closed. The police department's not closed. You have an emergency, whatever. But if you got to go to the front desk to report something,
right,
that's closed. You'll have to call them.
And I think this goes without saying, if you're going anywhere today, obviously the shelter-in-place order has been lifted, but if you're going anywhere today, there's still crews out. There's still folks who are getting their vehicles towed. Yeah. There's still so much debris, gravel on like every road I've been on. So exercise caution when you're out there driving. Don't go full force pedal to the metal like Roswell loves to do.
Yeah.
I know, you want to roll coal or whatever, but now ain't the time.
Well,
you need to make sure we're careful out there.
And that's just it too. Obviously, I get it. Everyone's out doing damage assessment, want to see what's going on, looky-loos, things, a lot of that yesterday going on.
Yeah.
I get it. I understand it. We all are people that do this from time to time. But as the cleanup work's going on, as all those efforts, just let the people do what they got to do and do what their thing. There's an enormous amount of cleanup that's going to be going on, both privately, publicly, everything else here. You may notice if you do go downtown, you can kind of see where the flooding impacted, because pretty much where the flooding lingered and hung out, there's this nice brown sheen of dirt that's kind of just caked the ground and everything around it. So that'll kind of give you an indicator of where the flooding got to and things like that. But just kind of stay out of everybody's way as they do cleanups and things like that. If you don't need to go out this morning, probably best to stay out of the way. I will tell you this, the north end of town's pretty fine.
For the most part, but, some gravel on the road and some debris.
Here and there. Like I said, the convention center, that's that area down as you get downtown, heading toward town from the north. That area is pretty bad. I personally haven't had eyewitness on south stuff, but I'm hearing reports it's pretty bad down there. Some flooding issues and impassable roads even still here with stuff. Reports of debris, people probably going to be chasing down cars and things.
Yeah.
I'm seeing I saw a lot of reports. Of course, there was a dance at the convention center.
That was insane.
Saturday night when all this was going down, and then many of you maybe saw the video online of at first they were dancing and things with a foot of water sitting there, and then as it got worse, people started clearing, and they ended up having people basically ride out the storm on the roof of the convention center, and they didn't get them right down till yesterday morning.
That's insane. That's
crazy. I was hearing reports that some of those people, like their cars were like, oh yeah, my vehicle's found. It was down by Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply. And so,
it just once it got picked up, it was flowed away.
I've seen those kind of reports. So, by the way, Roswell Livestock auction is not we'll Smiley tell you in a minute, but they are not doing the auction today because of the flooding and things like that.
But the fishing's good over there, from what I've heard.
I saw some video. They put in some fishing over there.
Oh,
but they said animals are good. Everything's fine there. But no auction today. So
I'll see if I can get. I I mean, and again, what I have for as far as like Spring River goes,
Yeah.
nothing official yet, but I'll see if I can get some preliminary reports of what's going on.
And fortunately, I think we're past the point of evacuations and that kind of stuff. But if you're still displaced things, the fairgrounds is a place where they're accepting folks and so if you do have a home that's not livable, that's where they're sending people right now. But good news is, thank God, a blessing in disguise. We were getting the thunderstorm warning reports again last night. Worrying about a round 2 here. Thank God that didn't amount to much. So that was probably a blessing in disguise, because if we got any kind of rain last night, it would have fired everything right back up again. That ground just has not a chance to absorb, and imagine that with burn scars.
Oh man.
Yeah. If that kind of rain was up in Ruidoso.
No, it was horrific. And actually, as I mentioned, I was had Ayana here this weekend when she was coming up from Las Cruces. She said she drove through 3 separate storm cells that were just like this.
Yeah.
Like massive hail, massive rain, and they were all basically coming towards us.
Yeah.
They kind of coagulated into one.
But the one difference was the amount of rain that actually came in.
Yeah.
Because I was looking over the weekend, they were kind of doing the Sunday morning storm rain totals, and it was a lot of rain. Like there was places 1 inch, 2 inch.
Sure.
But then you hit Roswell, and it was 5.89 or whatever they said at the time. I've heard anywhere from 5 inches to 8 inches officially. So we'll go with 5 to 6.
The bridge still out, by the way, between Roswell and Artesia.
Yes.
There is a route to get to Artesia. I believe it's 285 to Obihiwa. How do you say that road? OJIBAWA, Ohibawa Road or whatever.
We'll go with that.
Yeah, you go to 285 to that road, turn on that road, and take that to Highway 2 to get you to Artesia, and vice versa to get back. But for the time being, that bridge is going to be out.
Yeah, I imagine.
Until they route it on maybe on one side.
Yeah, and I'm sure in whatever is remaining structurally, seeing what it's like, or do they have to knock it all down and start over? I mean, it's really a lot of assessments. Anytime an engineering project of nature gets impacted by something, even if it's still standing, they need to check it out. Just in, that's how bridges just collapse all of a sudden when they just say, "Oh, it's fine," and then years later, "Oh, that crack turned out to kind of ruin the bridge." Anyway.
Little things become big things when it comes to infrastructure.
Absolutely. Of course, folks, like we said, it's cleanup day here. I imagine a lot of people are going to be out and about doing their cleanup. A lot of things are closed. If you have closures, things, please shoot them on our video feed, and we'll make sure to mention that. Or if you have my text, shoot me. It's not that secret, but if you have it, you can shoot me a text, and I'll make sure we announce it here or put it on our Facebook or whatever. We'll get that out. I know county stuff, courts. Pretty much anything government related is probably not happening here today. If you need emergency things, stuff like that, obviously all that's going on. But a lot of those public facilities, things like that, are going to be closed. Businesses, check in. Some will be closed, some will be open, just depending on how much they're dealing with. So.
Ojibwa. Thank you, Antonio, in the chat. Ojibwa.
Nice.
Yes, so now I know. But that's the route to take to get to and from Artesia. Is Ojibwa Road.
Why do I go Ewok as soon as I hear that? Like I hear that name or hear that word, and in my head I envision Ewoks.
Really?
That's like, it just feels
like. Surprised you go
Klingon.
Ojibwa.
I don't know. I went cute. I went like
you did go cute. So I can appreciate that. Like we need cute right now.
We can use some more.
We need a little cute
in this world. Matt Bristol is here. He's like the mail. No rain or sleet or snow will stop him. So Matt will join us. We'll get an update from him. I'm guessing his office is okay. His is higher than ours. So Which it looked like this building fared pretty well. I know the lobby looks like it got some water.
Yeah.
And it had that nice that dirt hue and mildew smell this morning that the Modesto and them had been already working on. And stuff.
I know it's weird, and it probably says something about how I became who I am. But the smell of mold really takes me back to childhood. It's really a sense memory for me.
Fond memory.
It is, for a weird number of reasons. I smell it, I'm like, oh yeah.
All I can think of when I think of this stuff is high school. Because my freshman year of high school, we had a mold problem in the vents and everything. and apparently it was pretty bad. Some kids were getting sick and all that. And so the school staged a walkout in the hall. The students walked out. This is my freshman year, like a month into the school. I'm like, this high school is crazy, man. 9th grade. And yeah, they had a walkout, and sure enough, it worked, and they closed the school down for like a week while they cleaned out all the black mold or whatever was in there. Something called, it had a real, like, Aspergillus niger or something. Oh, wow. It had a crazy name, but it was getting kids sick. So.
That's all you need to know.
And I got a week off school. So.
Heck yeah.
Ewoks. All right, it is 7:20. Let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather. Good news is rain is not in the forecast this week, just sunshine and stuff, which I think we'll graciously accept right now.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We're getting back into a pretty nice pattern for the next few days, maybe a few lingering clouds today. We'll be in the mid-70s for the Roswell area, mid-80s for Carlsbad, and about 80 for Artesia on the afternoon highs today. Clear and upper 40s to low 50s for the overnight hours. Sunshine on Tuesday, upper 70s to low 80s. Wednesday looks good. This is meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 63 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 50% with winds out of the southwest at 6 miles per hour. Sunny and 78 today. Thank God. I'm looking at the entire week, and there's no talk of rain, which we're pretty thankful for at this moment. However, temp-wise, it's a pretty nice week. Sunny and 78 today. West winds at around 5 miles per hour. So good cleanup weather, I guess you could say. Mostly clear tonight with an overnight low of 45 degrees. Winds will be out of the northwest at around 5 miles per hour. For you Tuesday, sunny, 80 for a high tomorrow. Winds will be calm. For Wednesday, we're looking at sunny skies, 82 for a high. Northwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny and 86. That'll be downright hot. And then Friday, back down to 78 and sunny. And then for the weekend, sunny and 79 for Saturday, sunny and 83 on Sunday. So looks like we're in for a pretty decent week of weather here, which I think we're good for right now. All right, it is 7:22. We're going to take a quick commercial break. There is a Roswell livestock report, although it's just Smiley saying there is no livestock report because it's closed today because of the flooding. And then a quick break, and then Matt Bristol will join us here from Bristol Law Office. Don't go away.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. Due to some much-needed rain the good Lord sent to the city of Roswell and the surrounding areas, we will cancel the Monday cattle sale for some much-needed cleanup. There is 500 cattle on the yards and they are eating, drinking, and doing fine. We will sell on Tuesday this week, expecting 600 to 800 head. Thanks for all the calls and prayers. Everything is okay at RLA. Talk to you in the morning. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
You there! What are these?
My glasses, Your Highness. They're
incredible. Who made these?
The eyesight in Roswell. Or was it Hobbs? Or maybe Carlsbad.
So well crafted and stylish. So the eyesight thinks they can challenge my throne with their quality eyewear.
Actually, Your Majesty, I got 2 pair and an eye exam. It was so easy. I did it during my lunch break, and they even took my insurance.
Lunch break? Who gave you a lunch break?
Human resources, Your Majesty.
Silence! I'll get you eyesight!
The Eyesight, now accepting new patients 5 and up in Roswell, Hobbs, and Carlsbad.
3 locations?
Clearly the best in sight.
Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply is your one-stop shop for farm and ranch supplies in southeastern New Mexico, with a friendly, knowledgeable team that can help you find the answer to your problems. With brands you know, including Preferred, Pearson, Purina, High Pro Feeds, Ariat, Wrangler, Cinch, Justin Boots, and more. Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply is a proud supporter of various sports, 4-H, FFA, and the farmers and ranchers of tomorrow. Roswell Livestock and Farm Supply, 1105 East 2nd, celebrating being family-owned and operated for 50 years.
A Greek-Canadian man invented the Hawaiian pizza. His name was Tex Colorado, and he was from Detroit. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 25 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, Matt Bristol with Bristol Law Office back with us. Good morning, Matt.
Morning, Mike. How are you doing?
Doing good. I hope you and your family and everybody, all your employees and everybody do okay during the weekend storms and everything.
Yeah, I think we did okay. One of my ladies' brother lived out near Midway in a pretty flat area, so I think he got some flooding. But I think my ladies were okay, but some of them doubled up with family that had some water issues. Fortunately, we didn't have any water issues, so that was knock on wood kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of thing. Looking out here. Well, that's good to hear. And of course, folks, obviously, some of the stuff we're probably talk about here, probably not the most front of mind things for folks at the moment here, but it could be at some things. But if you've got issues going on out there, obviously damage stuff, doing your cleanups, but file your reports, your insurance, and let them do. Hopefully, for those that don't have flood insurance, I don't know how they're going to deal with some of that stuff here because
I don't know.
That's not exactly something that a lot of people. I mean, obviously, you live in the flood districts and floodplains; they require it. But those places that don't, which there's a lot around here, they may not have it. So this could be a little sticky wicket for some folks down as the figure out who's going to pay for some of this cleanup comes around. So.
Yeah, it's going to be a mess, but I'm sure that we'll have a lot of insurance agents in town looking at stuff.
Oh, yeah. You think it's bad when the hailstorms and the hail? Wait till the flood comes through.
So, I'm sure they arrived yesterday.
Be leery of car sales, too. It's you always hear those. Won't be here. It'll be somewhere else. But, all those cars from over at Roswell Ford end up in Georgia somewhere. They're trying to sell them.
Yeah, I mean, where did those cars go? Oh my God!
Yeah, they lost the entire inventory pretty much.
Yeah,
I mean, the ones that didn't float away were resting on light poles and everything over there, so it was pretty bad.
Well, the engines flooded out.
Oh yeah, those cars are ruined. But,
yeah,
you always hear that during hurricanes and stuff. There's always those reports of all those inventory vehicles that they got running
sold somewhere else.
Yeah, and they're lemons. And what happens is they get them running and get them going, but none of the warranties, none of the parts. You know what I mean? None of the things it's supposed to do does after a while. So. But anyway, another story for another day. But of course, for folks not familiar, Matt joins us each month, and we talk just sage legal advice. It could be family law stuff, family planning, financial planning, could be business related on small businesses, things like that. It's a hodgepodge each month, a little different. So
so I'd kind of set out a 12-month schedule just so that I didn't have to try to think of something every month, trying to make my life a little easier.
Sure.
And so funny stuff is October talks about, asset protection and bankruptcy stuff.
Okay.
So hopefully this doesn't cause anybody to go there. But so if people got mortgage insurance, maybe this will pay off.
Absolutely.
Hopefully so, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to, I imagine, like today, most people are going to be thinking about, immediate needs and things here. But here in the next week or two, when assessments are done, insurance, and deciding if things are still fixable or not fixable or whatever, and we're going to be talking a lot of this stuff. So, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of resources. Talk to your insurance folks. Matt deals a little bit different stuff, but certainly he can help where he can help here. So. Yeah,
I don't do much insurance, don't know much about it.
Yeah.
But for if someone's struggling with bills, is there a minimum amount you have to owe to file bankruptcy?
I imagine there's got to be a percentage or something that there is, but maybe there isn't. I don't know.
Actually, no.
No? Okay.
There's no minimum.
Okay.
Are you required to be bankrupt to file bankruptcy?
I guess not.
No.
I mean, I don't know why you would if you're not.
Right.
But
practically speaking,
there's no law against you being stupid if you want to be.
Well, you could have the winning lottery ticket in your pocket and still file bankruptcy. So there's no requirement you actually be we refer to it as bankrupt.
Yeah.
It's kind of an interesting deal. So how old are the bankruptcy laws, do you think?
Probably ancient.
Pretty much. They were in England before the United States was the United States. In fact, it's mentioned in the Constitution. It's that old.
Okay. So we're talking what?
Hundreds of years.
I'll say what, 1600s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's been around a long time. Yeah. So I mean, it's evolved over time.
Sure.
And yeah, they used to have debtors' prisons.
I'm about
we
to
don't
say,
have those anymore.
Yeah, we don't have those anymore. Although, maybe we ought to rethink some of them. Anyway.
Let's see. And so if your parents pass and they owe a lot of credit card or other debts, do the adult children inherit their parents' debt?
The answer is no, isn't it?
The answer is no.
Yeah.
Not for like 150, 70 years. Yeah.
Yeah. However, it always seems that people want to try to pay the, you know what I mean? If there's an estate, you want to pay the bills, but if they can't, you're not on the hook for it. The estate is, if it's available, but they can't get blood from a turnip sometimes. So good luck with that.
Yeah, but in the old days, the children did inherit the debt, and which is,
Now, the estate inherits the debt, so if there's an ability for the estate to pay the bill, you're obligated to pay the bill. But they can't come after you for that money if the estate can't pay for it.
So. Right, so be careful. But there's subtlety. So and I unfortunately see a lot of people that say, well, I paid all this stuff. And I'm like, well, you didn't have to pay some of that stuff, and you should have kind of talked to me first.
Yeah, there's a and that's, you know what, if this is the kid, because that's exactly, because you and I have had that conversation on the radio before. It's like, did you pay off the car? I mean, if you're just nice, but if you're trying to protect it, maybe there's another way to do this legally.
So, well, there's financial reasons you might pay off the house or not pay off the house.
Yeah.
And
but again, that's where you need to talk one-on-one with your case and see if that's beneficial or not. That's
exactly
that's not just something you throw blanket advice at. That's in a case-by-case basis type deal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so I recently had a widow ask, well, did I inherit my husband's credit cards? I don't know anything about them. And he never told me he had them, and I never signed on them. And do I inherit that debt? And the answer is, well, no, but because it was a community debt.
I would say it's a joint asset or a joint liability.
It's a joint liability, whether you knew about it or not. So you're liable in that respect.
Yeah, because you guys are joined at the hip with all your finances, then anything they owe, you technically owe still.
Right.
Yeah.
But how many community property states are there?
Not many.
Yes, 8.
8.
So what happens?
I know we're one of them, but there ain't many.
Right. So what happens is you have all these other states with different laws a lot of times, and so you call them up and say, "Hey, this card was in my spouse's name only," and they'll go, "Oh, okay, we'll close it out," and they don't realize community property state is different.
Sure.
And then a lot of times they don't come after the surviving spouse.
Gotcha. Now, don't go sharing that information with them, but if you go cancel it, they probably won't question it.
Yeah, don't volunteer.
Yeah.
No.
I live in a community property state. I would like to cancel my... Yeah, don't do that. You're all bad at playing certain poker games, I'm guessing.
Yeah, don't pay nothing you don't have to.
That's right. That's free legal advice right there.
Yeah. So how far behind on your monthly credit card payments do you have to be to file a bankruptcy? Do you think?
I mean, there's probably no set date, but in my head, I'm going to say, I don't know, 6 months.
You don't have to be behind at all.
Yeah, I kind of figured that because that's just the way these laws go, but it should be like 6 months.
Well, you're not required to be behind. And in fact, on the car and the house, you don't want to be behind.
Gotcha.
Because there's, and so in the bank, one of the things in the bankruptcy is, am I going to lose my car? Am I going to lose my house? And the answer is, well, not if you're current.
Gotcha. But if you're a couple months behind, they're like, well.
Things get a little dicey. So you can choose to keep paying on the collateral if you want.
Okay. Now, does it matter what the house versus the car? Does one carry more? If you're behind on the car, I mean, they would be quicker to take that than the house, or would they? Or is it the same?
Well, the thing is if you're current, and you want to keep the car, then in the bankruptcy you can say, but I want to keep paying on it. And as long as you follow certain steps, I mean, they're stuck with that.
Sure.
But if you're behind on the car, then they don't have to go along with that if they don't want to.
Okay. Now, is a little behind good as caught up in this world? Or like if you're only like a month behind,
then you're behind.
Okay. I didn't know if they treated it versus, no, you haven't made a payment in 6 months versus you have made a payment in a month.
No, if you're behind, you're behind.
Gotcha. I guess, does the judge get discretion there at that point?
It's not a whole lot left up to him.
Okay. I didn't know if there was a gray area of behindness. Like, yeah, you're just a couple weeks behind versus, no, you haven't made a payment since 1982 or whatever.
22.
Yeah.
But a lot of people, unfortunately, because the credit card companies that are on the phone all the time.
Gotcha.
So they end up paying the credit cards and get behind on the house or car.
Gotcha.
And so we say, okay, well, stop paying the credit cards because you're going to get dump them in the bankruptcy anyway.
Gotcha.
So the unsecured creditors and the bankruptcy, those are the guys that go away.
Gotcha.
So those would be credit cards, payday loans, medical bills, people without collateral, the people that generally get wiped out. And like say what's called a Chapter 7. Oh, that's a good question. Why is it called a Chapter 7 bankruptcy?
Because it came between 6 and 8 in the code.
Pretty much. That's exactly right. It's the 7th chapter of the bankruptcy book. Yeah.
I didn't think it's anything more fancier than that. Because 6 is already taken and they haven't done 8 yet.
Yeah. That's exactly right. That's called Chapter 13 or Chapter 11 bankruptcy.
Just happens to be in
chapters in a book.
That's kind of like those amendments, just had to be the next one up. Yeah. No rhyme or reason for it.
That's right.
Yeah.
So with motor vehicles, creditors can require that you sign what's called a reaffirmation agreement.
Okay.
So if you say, I want to keep the car, they can force what's called a reaffirmation agreement. And it's an agreement that says, I reaffirm the debt, and I promise to pay for the car. And if I don't, you can and will sue me and garnish my wages.
Gotcha.
So that's a pretty ugly thing. So we try to avoid that. But, they can force it to either sign this or gives the keys kind of thing.
Of course, I guess if you make your payments, and that's not a problem anyway, I guess.
So that's roll the dice is, what if I don't sign and keep making my payments? And so that's a roll the dice. So technically, can they come get it? Yeah. Most of the time, do they? No.
Gotcha.
They don't make money repossessing. They make money off that interest, off the monthly payment.
Gotcha. So it makes sense. Very good. Of course, obviously, when you're going through these, this is why you need to have someone like Matt in your corner to ask these questions. Whenever you're filing for bankruptcy or dealing with these issues, these aren't things you just try to file and do on your own or on your own here. It's something, especially the more complicated your finances are. Well, the more you definitely want, because if there's things that are protectable versus aren't, and if you don't do that right, you could end up hurting yourself big time.
Yeah. So are you allowed to do it yourself if you want? Yeah, but they use certain words, and if you don't know what those words mean, so one of their words they use are exemptions. Okay, what do you claim as exempt? And the average person can go, well, I don't know. What does that mean?
Mm-hmm.
Well, exactly. Why are you doing the paperwork if you don't know what those words mean? You get in a heap of trouble. So how many cars are you allowed to keep in a bankruptcy?
I guess as many as you can pay for.
Sort of. So you're per person, you're allowed up to $10,000 worth of equity or positive net worth.
So it depends on how nice the cars they are.
Right. So if you're upside down, that's, you only have zero equity.
Gotcha.
But you're allowed up to $10,000 positive equity.
Okay.
Now say, well, gee, but I paid off my car and it's worth more than 10. Am I going to lose my car? And the answer is not necessarily, because they do give you a miscellaneous pot.
Okay.
So I think it's around $15,000 miscellaneous money that you could use to protect extra equity in the car, or if you have some cash or extra jewelry, something like that.
What if the vehicle's paid for?
There you go. That's where that extra pot of money comes
Gotcha.
in.
But so if it's paid for and you file for bankruptcy, they can't seize that as an asset per se?
Well, again, you're allowed to protect the first $10,000.
Just 10 of it, okay.
Of worth of motor vehicle. Then
All
you
right.
got that
so that counts even if it's not something you're currently paying on.
Right.
Very good.
So even if it's paid off.
Gotcha.
Yeah, then you got that little extra pot of money just in case.
Gotcha.
But, most people, unfortunately, are still paying on their cars.
Of course, that's probably when they get shady deals like I sold it to my brother for $1 and it's...
Oh, they have that question. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't own that Jeep. I sold it to my brother for $1. It's, it's his now.
Yeah, they have that question. It's in the last 2 years, is there anything you used to have you don't have anymore?
Yeah.
And so it's in the last 2 years, have you sold anything, given anything away?
Yeah.
Given anything as collateral? Falls within that category.
Yeah.
So
But you could still make that argument. It's like, I gave it to him for $1 because it's my brother. If it was some other guy, I would have sold him to him for $1,000. I mean, you could make that argument. I don't know if it'll hold up in court.
Nope.
No, it wouldn't.
No, I sold my $28,000 Harley to my brother for $1. Is not going to hold up.
Okay.
Oh, but I love my brother, so I gave him a sweetheart deal. No.
What about son or daughter?
No, no, especially not unless it's fair market value.
Okay.
If you sell for fair market value, you're okay.
All right, cool.
If it's less than fair
because
market,
people do that. It's like, all right, I got to charge you, so I'll give you $1, but I want you to do that because I like it.
Well, then don't.
Most people aren't doing that. They're doing it for what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But there is those cases where people are just kind.
Well, parents will do things for kids.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just don't do it within 2 years of the bankruptcy.
Yeah. If you do file for bankruptcy, you have to do it. Tell them to head for the hills with that vehicle so they can't find them.
Yeah. Because, they'll go take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Years ago, I had a little old lady come talk to me, and she was just diagnosed with cancer and was concerned with this cost of the cancer treatment and things. And she had just, because she'd been diagnosed, she put her son's name on the house in case she passed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a transfer of a property interest, right? So I'm thinking, is this going to be one of those transfers that, the bankruptcy court might be upset about at some point in the future? And so I had her run a credit report, and she had absolutely no debt. And so on these fraudulent transfer things, they look at the time you made the transfer, were you, quote, insolvent? Did your debts exceed your assets? Well, in her case, she had no debt. She wasn't insolvent.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, you keep a copy of the credit report, I'll keep a copy, and, we'll see how things go with your treatment. And so she went through the treatment, cancer-free, she was fine, thank goodness, but had all these, medical bills. And so we waited 2 years, 6 months from her adding her son onto the house. We filed bankruptcy.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, there's a 2 to 4 year look back period, and the trustee says, hey, ma'am, in the last 4 years, have you transferred any property? And it's like, dang. So she says, well, yeah, I put my son on the house, you know. And so the trustee's got this big grin about how he's going to, take the house away from her. And so I whipped out the credit report. She was not insolvent at the time of the transfer.
So
he had to leave her alone.
Yeah. That was, yeah.
So that was good planning.
There's
good
evidence
thinking
that she wasn't
ahead.
doing this for nefarious purposes.
That's right. But we did it the right way, 2 years in advance, just to be careful.
Well, and that's kind of cold-blooded. Like, the lady just went through cancer and everything. I mean, it's like, you want to look like literally the guy with the curly evil mustache? That's the way to do it.
Yeah, I was looking at his lips. Like, oh, my God.
He's like, well, you're going to, tired of train tracks next? That's what they're
Well, fortunately, they've expanded the homestead exemption.
Okay.
So under state law, Mike can protect $150,000 worth of equity in a home.
Okay.
And Kim can protect $150,000 of equity in a home.
And around
So
here, that'll get you
huge.
somewhere.
Oh, yeah, huge exemption. Yeah.
DC, not so much. But here, you're not going to get much house protected for $150 there. But here, a lot.
Yeah. So, and then they got this little clause of if your spouse passes away, but you file bankruptcy within a few months after that, you can still claim the spouse's exemption. Kind of a little twist there.
Okay.
But I mean, that's a huge exemption for people to help keep their homesteads.
Mm-hmm. Well, and at the end of the day, that's the thing. When people talk about that's the house. So it makes sense that it's a little bit harder to just up and procure. Like that, although you now see these That's something. Maybe we ought to talk about that one day.
What's that?
Thing is, I know it's kind of settled down now, but there was a thing with the squatters and people losing their houses and their deeds getting turned over online and all that stuff.
There's some fraudulent.
Yeah, one of these days, how does that even happen? I don't even understand how that happened.
That happened to Graceland.
They did it?
Yeah, within the last year, I think. So somebody had forged mortgage papers, and so they went to foreclose on Graceland. I mean, what if you're going to do this? Why are you going to pick somebody that famous,
right? I'm about to say, you think someone's going to sniff that one out at some point? It's like, wait a minute, this address is.
So whoever owns Graceland, I mean,
I'm sure it's the Presley family in some way, shape, or I don't know if it's.
I don't know.
I think it's the granddaughter now of Lisa Marie, or Lisa Marie's daughter.
Man, they called a quick court hearing and they drug in the notary.
Yeah,
and they said, "Did you notarize this mortgage for Graceland?" And the notary says, "Nope, I had no idea. It's not my signature.
Yeah,
it's forged."
I'm glad they sniffed that one out, but how many of those don't get sniffed out? You know, and so that's
kind of weird.
That might be something we talk about in the future here.
Sure.
So. I know we're running a little short on time here. Yeah, it's about quarter till here, and I got to get all this hurricane flooding stuff.
Okay.
So you get some of that more information on that out here too.
Okay.
But is there any other things we definitely want to make sure that we want to cover here that we kind of skipped over?
There's 4 sections of the paperwork, and one of the sections is a budget.
Okay.
And so hardly meet anybody that's ever done a written budget by the time they get to me. So some people, once we look at their budget, they have a budget issue, not a debt issue, and they don't have to file the bankruptcy.
So they can avoid bankruptcy altogether. And
and the budget is designed to help you save money in advance to pay for things that go wrong. And that's the good part of the budget.
Was bookkeeping classes in lawyer school when you go to?
Not in law school, but in a previous life, I was a bookkeeper.
I got you. I was to say, and I was like, they have a whole bookkeeping accounting section in lawyer school there.
No. That's why we didn't go become accountants. We can't count.
Well, I remember when they showed up them ledgers in accounting class, I said, I'm out. I did nope, I'm not dealing with it. My wife likes that stuff. Me, not so much.
Yeah, I didn't like the way they taught it. I didn't like.
Yeah.
But now that I've actually know how to keep books, I understand what they're saying now. Sure. But at the time, it's like, what are you talking about?
As a small business owner, you probably had to learn that one on your own there a little bit.
Well, if you want to stay in business, you learn that stuff. You sure do.
Yeah. Sink or swim kind of thing. So.
Well, it's like eating your broccoli. You know, you just got to learn how to do it.
That's right. Yeah, exactly. But of course, if you have questions about anything now, if you got family law issues, stuff like that, Matt can help out there too.
Yep, we do that too.
Planning, wills, all those kinds of things. Definitely reach out to Matt if you're ready to do those types of work.
We are not doing court cases anymore. Stop taking litigation cases.
Okay,
it's going to kind of slow down a little bit.
So kind of doing, but if you need the kind of the maintenance law kind of stuff, getting those wills and done, making sure your powers of attorney are done, and all those kinds of
uncontested probates, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So things that don't require contests.
And of course, just legal advice. And that's the great thing too. If you have anything, whether you think you need a lawyer or not, please reach out to Matt. He'll sit down and talk with you, and he'll tell you exactly, you need a lawyer, or nope, you fill this out, and you're done with it.
BristolLawOffice.net, and you can call us at 625-5284.
Yeah, we've got time for a little fact or fiction if you want to hit us with some of that.
So so the Greek word for contest.
Okay.
Is, any idea?
Greek word for contest. No, I have no idea.
Like Olympic contest, wrestling contest, running contest. So it was the Greek word was agonia.
Agonia, okay.
Agonia, because you tried so hard, you were in agony. That's where you get the word agony comes from.
Yeah, we'll see. And if anybody of a certain age watched Wide World of Sports, the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat. That's just something that's been ingrained in my head ever since I was a kid.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And they showed the guy tumbling down the mountain on the skiing. Usually around the agony of defeat, you see the guy getting tumbleweeded down the ski jump mountain there.
That must have hurt really bad.
Yeah.
But that's to the Greeks. That's how important the contest was.
Interesting.
You tried that hard.
Interesting. Now I want to work the word agony in more of my vocabulary today. Well, the flooding talk shouldn't be too difficult.
Yeah.
Matt, as always, appreciate it. Of course, if folks have any questions
Mike.
or anything,
Please give us a ring.
Yeah, BristolLawOffice.net.
.net.
Yes, I got it right this time.
Awesome.
And, of course, don't hesitate to reach out, and he'll be happy to take care of you.
And Mike and I hope everybody out there is safe today and stays safe and recover quickly.
Yes, be careful and, get out there, get cleaning up, and hopefully everyone, we'll all get through this. It's just and to be honest, you kind of look through town and there's some real bad parts, but we'll get through it. You kind of look and there's parts, and you kind of see like the one that gets me is the cars just sitting on its side in various places and things like that.
That's how powerful water is.
It looks a little apocalyptic that way, and it's very. But we'll get through it. We'll get through it. So thank you, Matt, as always.
Thanks, Mike.
And we'll see you next time.
All right.
Glad you and your family and everybody on your end are doing pretty good here.
Think so. Ditto to you.
So absolutely. All right, it is 7:51. Let's pause for some news, Kim Commando update, and some commercials, business update as well, too. Don't go away.
Now, your Pecos Valley News update. I'm Jared Cirillo. The Roswell Air Center remains closed today. All flights are canceled for today because of the severe flooding problems that remain. An assessment of the damage is expected to be done today and will hopefully determine if flights can resume by this afternoon. In addition, a number of other facilities remain closed, including the Recreation and Aquatic Center, the Roswell Adult Center, Spring River Zoo, Public Library, Museum and Convention Center, the Nancy Lopez Golf Course, and South Park Cemetery. All are closed. There will be no residential trash pickup in Roswell today. Today's collection will be moved to Tuesday and Tuesday's collection to Wednesday. The municipal landfill is also closed today. Municipal courts will not operate. At least 2 people are confirmed dead in the Spring River flooding, according to the New Mexico State Police. The National Guard rescued 290 people, including 38 who had to be hospitalized. Officially, the Weather Service said 5.78 inches of rain fell on Saturday, surpassing the old record of 5.65 inches set back in 1901. 5.78 inches of rain is 4 times the average rainfall rate for the month of October. In Artesia, the traffic lights at 1st and Main are still flashing. The nearby railroad crossing arms are not working properly, so the crossing is closed. A BNSF crew from Roswell was unable to get out of town on Sunday to respond to Artesia, so a crew from Lovington is being dispatched today. This is causing a problem for the main road out of Artesia. Motorists can still cross east on East Hermosa. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
QR codes are everywhere. Restaurants, stores, even on buses. Just point your phone and you're instantly connected. But scammers are taking advantage of that convenience. I'm Kim Commando for Total AV, the award-winning antivirus software, just $19 right now at protectwithkim.com. Here's how the scam works. You get an email that looks like it's from your bank. Inside, there's a QR code that they want you to scan to get more info. You scan it, and it takes you to a site that looks just like your bank's. But really, it's a clever trap to steal your login account details and password. Why are scammers using QR codes? Because many email systems flag suspicious links. But with QR codes, they can bypass those defenses. Sneaky, right? So how do you protect yourself? It's basic. Don't scan any QR code in your email. There's no reason to. If there's a problem with your bank account, call them and ask, or open the bank's app on your phone and see if there are any alerts. Join over 500,000 folks and get my free newsletter at getkim.com. Do you need statistics to finally convince you to bite the bullet and get good antivirus software? Well, here's the cold, hard truth. Ransomware makes up 68% of all cyber attacks. 72% of businesses were attacked by ransomware last year. Phishing scams are the most reported cybercrime in the United States. And last but not least, AI-powered cybercrimes are rumored to make up 85% of these scams. When you're not using antivirus software, you're at major risk, period. Don't wait for the worst to happen. Protect yourself now. My pick for antivirus security software is the award-winning Total AV. Go to protectwithkim.com right now for protection that's just $19 a year. You get antivirus protection up to 5 devices. Go to protectwithkim.com before it's too late. You don't need to be a victim. Go to protectwithkim.com. You'll get great antivirus software at 85% off. That's protectwithkim.com, protectwithkim.com.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We're getting back into a pretty nice pattern for the next few days, maybe a few lingering clouds today. We'll be in the mid-70s for the Roswell area, mid-80s for Carlsbad, and about 80 for Artesia on the afternoon highs today. Clear and upper 40s to low 50s for the overnight hours. Sunshine on Tuesday, upper 70s to low 80s. Wednesday looks good. This is meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. The Roswell Eyes saved the best for last. Their showdown Friday night with the Artesia Bulldogs in Artesia. Roswell, and by the last, I mean the last quarter, Roswell trailed 34-22, but then a rally for 22 straight points, ended up winning the game by a score of 44-40. Roswell next will be playing at Mayfield this Saturday at 1. Goddard loses to Mayfield 28-20. That was at the Wool Bowl. Dexter is 9-0 on the season. 38-2 thrashing of Hot Springs, and that took place at Hot Springs. Meanwhile, NMMI beats back Ruidoso 45-13, and it was Hagerman falling to Mesilla Valley in 8-man football by a score of 53-0. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell's Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. Global finance leaders face a major uncertainty as they meet in Washington this week. Who will win the U.S. presidential election and shape the policies of the world's biggest economy? Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris have spoken little about their plans for the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. U.S. single-family home building surged to a 5-month high in September, but permits for future construction rose only marginally amid excess supply of new homes on the market. Americans stepped up their purchases at retailers last month as low unemployment, steady pay gains, and rising stock and home values helped sustain their willingness to spend despite higher prices. Spirit AeroSystems will furlough 700 workers for 21 days as the strike at the U.S. plane maker Boeing continues. The furloughs will affect Spirit Aero employees working on Boeing's wide-body jet programs. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Are you ready to succeed? The School of Arts and Sciences at ENMU Roswell covers a broad curriculum. The certificates and degrees offered within these programs will prepare students to realize personal, professional, and occupational objectives, from ag science and agricultural technology to behavioral science, biology, bookkeeping and accounting, business administration, criminal justice, education, and mathematics. ENMU Roswell can set you up for success. Register now on campus or online at roswell.enmu.edu. Eastern New Mexico University, Roswell. Success starts here. Dion's is homegrown right here in New Mexico and is the perfect place for team dinners, family gatherings, and all of your catering needs. Stop by our location on South Main and West Wildy, where you can feed 5 for $35 plus tax with a large one-topping pizza and a family-size salad. With Dion's, we make it easy to bring together your favorite people with your favorite food. Visit Dion's.com to order ahead for dine-in or for pickup. That's Dion's.com. Dion's, where great food and good people meet.
It's possible to turn peanut butter into diamonds. Peter Pan tried it with his buddy Skippy, but they couldn't do it in a jiff. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is closing in on 7:59. Stay tuned next hour. We've got, I've been talking on the phone here. Looks like I've got, we're going to have Brian Luck, the superintendent for the RSD. I'm going to give him a call here probably around a little after 8:10, 8:15, and we'll get an update from him. Christina Arnold, City Councilor, going to join us probably around 8:30ish or so. She was out and about yesterday, and just give us an update with city stuff and all that. And I'm working the phones now, but it looks like during that interview I got a text from Chaves County Manager Bill Williams. Looks like I'm going to talk to him probably in the 9 o'clock hour from the county side on stuff here going on with flooding and all that stuff. So we'll all of that on tap here for the future 2 hours of the show here. We are about time for 8 o'clock here on Top of the Hour News. We'll get you that here in just a second, and then we'll start the next hour of the show. But, yeah, it's no school stuff. If you don't need to be out, don't go out. But it is cleanup time and starting to do all our thing. All right, it is 8 o'clock. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, or Roswell, New Mexico. We'll be back on the other side of news. Don't go away.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Jeremy House. Lebanese are surveying the damage after overnight Israeli strikes hit nearly a dozen branches of a Hezbollah-run financial institution. The strikes targeted branches in the southern neighborhoods of Beirut and across southern Lebanon, where Hezbollah has a strong presence. GOP presidential nominee Donald Trump is asking supporters to vote the Democratic incumbents out of office on Election Day.
Americans are ready to be free from Kamala Harris. Do you know that whenever I use the word Harris, everybody says, who's Harris? They have no idea who Harris is. That's true. They have no idea who's Harris. But Kamala, and to reclaim the future that is rightfully yours, you're going to reclaim it.
The former president was campaigning over the weekend in Unity Township, Pennsylvania. Residents of remote Sapelo Island off the Georgia coast described scenes of chaos and horror after a gangway people used to board a dock ferry collapsed over the weekend. Georgia State Representative Al Williams says the people on the dock were mostly members of the Gullah Geechee community of black slave descendants who are now mourning the victims.
We never know, but I do know this about Sapelo and this part of Georgia. These are people of great faith, and through that faith, it will bring us through. Tragedy is never easy, but we're people that believe that God does not make mistakes.
Officials say 7 people were killed and 3 remained hospitalized. Victims of Brazil's worst environmental disaster are taking their case for compensation to a British court. It's almost 9 years after tons of toxic mining waste poured into a major waterway. On Wall Street, the Dow's down 107 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
Hurricane Oscar made landfall in the Bahamas over the weekend and pushed farther west.
Hurricane Oscar has made landfall in the southeastern Bahamas and was heading towards Cuba, an island recently beleaguered by a massive power outage. The National Hurricane Center in Miami said the storm center arrived on Great Inagua Island. It's expected to produce a dangerous storm surge that could produce significant coastal flooding there and in other areas of the southeastern Bahamas. 2 to 4 inches of rainfall are expected, with isolated amounts of up to 6 inches. Forecasters said 5 to 10 inches of rain and even isolated amounts of up to 15 inches are expected across eastern Cuba through Tuesday. I'm Karen Shamas.
Police in Haiti are clashing with gunmen trying to take over one of the few communities in the capital, Port-au-Prince, that is not controlled by gangs. News and analysis at townhall.com. I'm Jeremy House. A new poll suggests most voters think the economy is poor, but doubt whether the Republican or Democratic nominee for president can fix it.
About 7 in 10 voters surveyed by the Associated Press and the Nork Center for Public Affairs Research say the country is going in the wrong direction and that the economy is poor. An AP Nork poll in September also found that neither Donald Trump nor Kamala Harris had a clear advantage on handling the economy and jobs. But this poll asked for more specific questions about whether voters trusted either candidate to do a better job handling the cost of housing, jobs, and unemployment, taxes on the middle class, the cost of groceries and gas, and tariffs. 46% of those surveyed say they prefer Harris on middle-class taxes, compared to 35% for Trump. Donna Warder, Washington.
The New York Yankees and Los Angeles Dodgers tangle in the World Series beginning Friday night at Dodger Stadium. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce.
Of Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday here.
Yes.
Obviously a cleanup Monday for Roswell, New Mexico.
Indeed.
We have
Write it down.
survived the flooding and severe storms over the weekend here, and we got beat up pretty good, but we're getting through it. It's good news is we're done with the rain and stuff. That's the good news. The bad news is we got a lot of cleanup.
Doing a quick I had to run a quick errand back to the casa for a second, but just doing a quick drive around today. A lot of crews out doing cleanup. Like I said, a lot of gravel and debris and roads. Certain areas, especially in the Spring River area, their roads have been pretty deeply damaged. A lot of potholes.
Washed out.
Yeah. A lot of pieces of road have been taken off, or like top layer or whatever. Drove by DeBrimmond, and the entire fence is like lined with debris from that flowed through there.
Okay.
So it was.
Did you see the field by chance? Was it underwater? Or was it...
The field, from what I saw, the field didn't look underwater.
Okay.
But so that's some good news, I guess.
Okay.
But
so still had grass.
Yeah, still had grass on the field.
All right, play ball.
But so just exercise caution as you're heading out and about today.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, if you don't need to go out, probably best you stay out of the way and things like that. Obviously, school's closed today. A lot of your businesses, government businesses, obviously library, any city resources, pretty, as far as aquatic center, library, the museum, zoo, all of those are closed until further notice.
Yeah. Pretty sure the post office is still open. I think that's their thing, isn't it? Rain and sleet and snow and dark of night.
I imagine the mail will still go through as much as humanly possible. I imagine if you're living in an area that's kind of isolated, they may have a little trouble getting to you. But,
sure.
As this goes, like I said, this will get better here today. And the good news is the weather will be cooperative to allow cleanup and those kinds of things. So, but no school today. Matter of fact, here in about 5 minutes, we're going to have Superintendent for the Roswell Independent School District, Brian Luck, join me on the phone. He'll give us an update what's going on with the RSD. Probably, I imagine they've got at least a good assessment at this point of how their schools fared and what kind of timetable it's going to be to get them back up and running. I imagine they're going to try to get as little as getting us back in going tomorrow. But there's a lot of questions that need to be answered before we can answer that. And Brian will probably have a few of those answers for us. So we'll talk with Brian here in just a bit. Also, later on this hour, we're going to have City Councilor Christina Arnold join us. I think she's going to pop by in studio. I think she's going to walk by and join us. And we'll talk about city side from the storm and all that. Of course, her and Councilor Juliana Halverson were out and about talking to workers, recording footage, and just kind of checking in on everybody yesterday. And so a lot of footage that Christina shared and Juliana shared, everything from just various rescuings of people off the roofs of the convention center to lost dogs, to everything in between. And we were sharing all that, so we'll talk about that.
There was a moment yesterday as I was scrolling through Facebook. somebody had posted a picture. It was inside of their truck of a puppy that they found.
Yeah.
And, said it was in this area. The only reason, I had a real hard time believing if it was real or not.
Okay.
Artificial intelligence images have really screwed me up in these situations. Because,
everything's AI.
Well, because after the hurricane, you remember that picture that was going around of that little girl in the boat holding the dog with the life jacket? It's like that was clearly a fake photo. And my brain, I think I've seen enough of them now that as soon as I see an AI photo, I'm
You're just skeptical.
That's artificial intelligence.
Yeah, you're skeptical.
But also, it was like there's too many things around, like the ground is brown out there. I think I see some water over here, so this is probably real.
Yeah.
Unless AI is getting way better than I thought it was.
It's coming.
This one's probably real. But that's the problem is maybe this is the goal, but it's made it so hard to trust anything you see on social media.
Yeah, pretty much.
Without at least doing a base level of digging under the surface.
Oh yeah, it's gonna get it'll get worse before they start cracking down on this.
So stop believing the headlines, everybody.
That's right. Just listen to
dig a little deeper.
Dinglings like us.
Mm-hmm.
We won't steer you too far off.
We don't even have the mental capacity to hold a conversation half the time. You think we're gonna mislead you?
Listen to us. We're too stupid to trick you.
That's right. Clearly too dumb to try to sway your opinions.
Oh man,
that's the way. We like it.
That's right. All right, it is 12 minutes after 8. Let's do this. Let's do weather and a quick break, and then I'm gonna get Brian Luck on the phone, and we'll chit chat with him on the other side of this break here. So weather, quick break, and then we'll be back with Superintendent Brian Luck on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We're getting back into a pretty nice pattern for the next few days, maybe a few lingering clouds today. We'll be in the mid-70s for the Roswell area, mid-80s for Carlsbad, and about 80 for Artesia on the afternoon highs today. Clear and upper 40s to low 50s for the overnight hours. Sunshine on Tuesday, upper 70s to low 80s. Wednesday looks good. This is meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
A good night's sleep is so important, and issues like sleep apnea make falling asleep and staying asleep nearly impossible, but we can help. I'm Dr. Sarah Usher at Carabelli Dental. With the help of a simple oral appliance, your sleepless nights could be a thing of the past. But don't take my word for it, just ask Lainey.
My name is Lainey Smith. I wasn't surprised when I found out I had sleep apnea simply because I had a horrible sleep pattern. I attempted to use the machine and it drove me nuts and I could not sleep with it. And then that's when Dr. Agger told me about the oral appliance. I would suspect I've been using it for 2 years now. In all of that time, I've had less than 10 poor nights of sleep. It's a complete game changer. I feel a lot better because I sleep.
This simple appliance can change your life. Call us today to set up your appointment so you can finally get the good night's sleep you need.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental at the corner of 9th and Main in Roswell, or call 575-622-4455.
The ultimate Wi-Fi experience is now available to you thanks to Smart Home Wi-Fi with Plateau. Get fiber-to-home technology 100 times faster than average household internet speed. Plateau has multiple plans and options to fit your family. With Fast, get true 100 megs per second download and upload speed. With Faster, get true 500 megs of download and upload speeds. And with Fastest, you get 1 gig. Learn more at plateautel.com. Get the speed you need with Plateau. Tried, true, trusted.
So your pecans aren't as big and bountiful as they used to be? Well, what would Jim Gill do?
Hi, this is Ben from Roswell Seed Company. Few people knew as much about pecans as Jim Gill. And if he were here today, he'd tell you it was time to fertilize. He'd tell you just what you need and show you how to use it. Then he'd make some joke about your neighbors making fun of your nuts.
So when there's trouble with your pecans, head for Roswell Seed Company and ask them, what would Jim Gill do?
At Artesia General Hospital, we know it's early, but schedule your mammogram today and save. Call 855-RAD-EXAM and save 10% off mammograms scheduled through October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And get a refreshing drink discount from Kith & Kin in Artesia or Blue House in Carlsbad. We use leading-edge, FDA-approved Genius 3D mammography technology to deliver more accurate results faster and with more comfort. Women over 40 do not need a referral for yearly screenings. Learn more at artesiageneral.com/mammogram.
If you suffer from pogonophobia, you would not want to attend a party with the following people: Kenny Rogers, Santa Claus, Willie Nelson, the cast of Duck Dynasty, and 2/3 of ZZ Top. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 15 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us on the phone this morning, Superintendent for the Roswell Independent School District, Brian Luck, back with us. Good morning, sir. How you doing today?
Hey, good morning, Mike. How are you, sir?
Doing good. Hopefully everybody fared well in your circle of family and friends and are surviving the storm okay, or survived the storm okay.
Yes, sir. We were pretty blessed.
Good deal.
Pretty blessed.
Well, overall, the RSD, obviously you guys are pretty spread out from one end of town to the other with all the schools and things. Just a general assessment overall how the schools fare during the storm as far as physical damage. Is there any majorly impacted, or are all pretty good shape right now?
We're going to say pretty good shape right now, Mike. Okay. As you know, different parts of town took different brunt's of it. We were in every building yesterday. We had crews out going through the buildings, making sure that we didn't have 3-4 feet of water anywhere. We didn't.
Good.
We kind of had the like you were saying earlier, the garden variety leaks that come from the ceilings.
Yep.
Roof, little leak here or there in the roof. We did a little bit of water cleanup yesterday.
So a lot of rolling trash cans in hallways and things, maybe, but
yeah, lots of mop buckets and Kivaks, and we got everything cleaned up. Our custodians are in buildings today, double checking the assessments. We feel pretty comfortable with our physical structure. Okay. Washington Avenue, even there. I mean, the outside was pretty well beat up, but the inside of the buildings all did really well, which I think is just a testament to the people that take care of them and the people that built them. So, I mean, you get what you pay for, and I think we've been very blessed with the way our buildings held up through that. Right now we're actually out at the Goddard soccer fields. Right now, we just did the Goddard football field, the practice field. We're moving from here over to Roswell High to just ensure that nothing came across our fields that left or that stayed that we didn't want. No debris, no debris of the sharp, sticky, pointy kind that may have floated in from somewhere that we're not associated with. And
the water moves everything.
Oh, buddy, yeah. And you know what? My heart goes out to anybody that was impacted. Sent out a couple emails yesterday, asking our teachers just to one, check on their coworkers, and we've got a lot of our staff that's impacted.
Absolutely.
And then utilize whatever methods that they have in their schools to check on their kids. And
there was a lot of that going on with I know, like, again, my wife being a teacher, they're using some of the software technology that's available in the classrooms to reach out to families yesterday and checking in on everybody. So I think that was going on all through the district yesterday. So
tell you what, and you just never know. Yep. I mean, you don't, it's easy to say, well, I don't understand why we're not doing this, or I don't understand why we're not doing that. But then you see that someone's house had, 4 feet of water in it, and they have no clothes left.
Yep.
Their shoes all were destroyed. What they had on is what they left with, and that's hard.
I mean, yeah, this is a flooding, and but it's not that different from a tornado situation where literally, one side of the street is destroyed and the other side looks like it was never touched. That with this flooding, if you were in low-lying areas, it was impacted. If you're in higher ground, you probably didn't. You just had a rainy day, pretty much. So that's what we're kind of So some folks in the higher ground, they're not impacted, but folks around Spring River and other low-lying areas, they lost everything in some cases here. So
right,
yeah.
Well, and I think the biggest thing, and it's going to be tough for a lot of people to kind of to deal with or fathom. We're fixing to shift over to having to wait on two things. And first and foremost is our buses.
Yeah.
Scott Walker, Mark Hamill, we've been in constant communication with them. They can't just go start their buses after they've been covered in water.
Okay.
When I say covered in water, think of the hood of a bus. That's how high the water got.
Okay.
Where they park their buses.
So they still have buses. That was my
We
first
still
question.
have them.
Okay.
We do. Well, I say that we can have all the buses you want, but if they can't run because
Right.
they have water in the engine block, that's going to be a bad deal.
I just didn't know if they were like in, I don't know, halfway to Texas or something. I didn't know. That was what I was curious about.
No, I think we might have seen those large yellow objects floating somewhere, but no. Scott sent me a text earlier this morning that the yard and it's off of Wyoming is where the bus yard is at, and that, a lot of debris that did not start in his yard ended up in his yard.
Okay.
And I don't know. I don't really honestly know about a tomorrow start either. Okay. I know I've been in communication with City Manager Cole and working with the mayor and his team as far as just basic infrastructure in the city. With you guys were talking a minute ago about the roads and pieces of road missing, and that tends to be a pretty impactful thing when it's next to a bridge.
Yep.
So, and we do have to drive buses over bridges, and they've got to ensure that they're safe.
Absolutely.
And that's the last thing we need is for something like that to happen. So I've reached out to the state Secretary of Ed yesterday. Talked to Secretary Padilla, and she's offered full support. And we're going to play this by ear. We're going to.
Sure. So I mean, do you think like depending on these buses and all that, could we see where the state gets involved and they start sending some of those things down here to meet the needs if these buses don't start working or whatever happens here with some of this stuff?
I could see something along those lines. Okay. I think it's a twofold problem right now because even if they were to work, I've got to have good roads for them to work.
Yeah, but to say even if you do, especially when you get out in the county and some of these small bridges, if there's and I imagine they probably need to have an engineer take a look at them to make sure they're structurally, sound and things, especially if their water got right up to surface level on that bridge. Next thing you know, it moves a pillar and you drive something as little as a car over it, it could impact it. So it's
this sounds bad, but I mean it's one thing for a family to drive a car across or a pickup or whatever, and whoever's in charge of that group gets to assume the risk for their family. But
absolutely,
when you're talking about a bus full of kiddos, and I get to assume that risk. And, we have some protocol that we've got to make sure that it's in place before we're just going to go do that. So, I don't know. I know Mr. Cole had said that they were working to hopefully get somebody down here today.
Sure.
But this is also a large entity, and whether that happens or not, we'll see. Like I said, we're going to have a meeting later this morning to kind of see what we can do. I know no one was ready for this to happen where we would do some type of a virtual learning event. But I don't know. Like I said, we're just going to have to cross that bridge, no pun intended, when we get there.
So and I know it said there's a lot of moving parts and it's really early to tell here, but spitballing or reading the tea leaves today, is it tomorrow? Is it anytime later this week? When do you anticipate kids maybe going back into classrooms?
I tell you what, I could envision a world where we're going to need tomorrow as well.
Okay.
Just to show up our infrastructure as far as like the busing.
Okay.
The yard's got to dry out. We've got to be able to get that done as well, and then hopefully they start.
Okay.
And hopefully we can get our kids transported. And if they can't, then we'll make immediate arrangements. I've had a couple other districts. I spoke with Superintendent Strickland a second ago, and he volunteered and, hey, whatever you need. And I've had multiple people reach out as well that just said, however we can help. And like I said, I think my biggest problem right now is going to be trying to convince the people that we're just flat not impacted.
Gotcha.
To understand why we're doing this. It's, it's going to be 75 today. It's sunny. And,
Well,
we're out of school, and we're out of school for a pretty good reason, and that's because we can't get kids there safely right now.
Well, the folks that weren't impacted, steer them to our Facebook and all those videos of those things, and say we're cleaning up from that.
Say what I will publicly apologize right here. I'm guilty. I wanted to see, and so in my driving around trying to check on schools, I did end up in that area, and I was blown away by the destruction, man.
I've seen a ton of videos and everything, and I'm blown away. To see it with your own eyes is a whole nother level, I'm guessing. So,
Well, we had a family member that had a vehicle getting service at the pickup, the Ford dealership, and we went down to check on it. And as we were standing there, around the corner came a forklift with probably about a $95,000 brand new pickup on the forklift, and my heart dropped because I was just like, "That's incredible."
Yeah.
And they just stacked it up. I was like, well, there you go.
Well, and it's just you think about it. Pretty much the entire inventory of vehicles at Roswell Ford are gone.
Yeah.
Not like sold; they're gone. They floated away or sitting on light poles. It's just insane. So, yeah.
Well, I tell you, my heart goes out to them, but and I know we've got a couple fatalities that they were working with, and our hearts go out to those people. And anytime something happens in Roswell, if you give it 10 minutes, I can tie it back to the schools in some way, either a person or a relative. And I just, that's what I keep trying to remind everybody is like, hey, this is bigger. This is bigger than just your moment. This is bigger than just. So, be kind to one another. And we always talk about being a family here in town. Yep. And you get to prove it now. So, but I appreciate the call, and I appreciate the offers for help.
Absolutely. And of course, for folks, obviously, keep your phones close. I'm sure the district will be sending out the calls and the word out with any updates, changes to school schedule, whether the kids are in class tomorrow or not. You will get that information here later this afternoon. Like I said, they're still doing assessments, but realistically, what you're saying, we could probably see at the least one more day of no school, probably.
I think if I was a betting person, and if I had to make a plan, a family plan, and you wanted to do that before lunch, I think you'd be safe.
Yeah.
But like I said, we'll put out. My goal will be 12 o'clock lunch. That we won't wait past that.
Absolutely, and of course, don't hesitate to reach out to your teachers and everything. They're
please.
They're the wealth of information, and through I know there's the different portals and things you can reach out to. Besides just the telephone, but. And then of course I know like my wife and I know many other teachers check in and just keep making sure everyone's knows okay. I know those teachers are caring about your kids, so reach out, and if you need things, don't hesitate to talk to them. They're ready to help
Absolutely.
in any way they can.
Well, and I've asked all of them if you hear of things, pass that up the chain, and that I would love to know. I mean, I would love to know that everybody's fine.
Yep.
But I don't expect that. So. We've had organizations and resources that have reached out, and I can't get them to them if I don't know.
Absolutely.
So please let us know, and if you're cool, I'm going to run back and keep looking for bad stuff on our soccer fields.
Yes, do your thing. Thank you for sparing a few minutes to talk to us, Brian, and anything else we can do, please don't hesitate to reach out.
Awesome. Thank you, Mike. Have a good day.
Thanks. Take care.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, that was Brian Luck, superintendent for their RESD, and that's kind of our update we have right now as far as school. Like you said, they're still assessing, they're going through, and looks like some leaks and things, but not some major damage in there. But it sounds like the buses, that's the real impact right now, and that's where they're logistically having issues that could create some problems here. So that's where we're at. I did get a message from Bob Lavrakis earlier. I forgot to mention it, got wrapped up. But Jireh Ministries, First Baptist Church, they're going to be open today from noon to 5. If you need items, they usually have clothing and those kinds of needs. If you're in need of that stuff, you can swing by First Baptist Church here at Jireh Ministries. Again, they'll be open from noon to 5 today. And then the rest of the week, they'll be open from 9 to 5, handing out clothing and toiletry and items and things like that. So that's First Baptist Church there, noon to 5 with Jireh Ministries. If you're in need of those things because you're displaced or all of it's underwater or caked and covered in 8 pounds of dirt, all of that, then they can help out there. And please reach out. They'd love to see what assistance they can help you with. It is 8:30. I think I saw Christine Arnold in and out popping. I heard a flutter of activity. So let's do this. Let's pause for news, and we'll also go ahead and do a quick update, commercials and all that. And then I think Christine is here, city councilor, so she'll join us and give us city side and her perspective of things with all of the flood damage. That's coming up here in just a bit. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters. Happy Monday. Thanks for hanging out, and glad you're safe, everybody.
Now, your Pecos Valley News update. I'm Jared Cirillo. The Roswell Air Center remains closed today. All flights are canceled for today because of the severe flooding problems that remain. An assessment of the damage is expected to be done today and will hopefully determine if flights can resume by this afternoon. In addition, a number of other facilities remain closed, including the Recreation and Aquatic Center, the Roswell Adult Center, Spring River Zoo, Public Library, Museum and Convention Center, the Nancy Lopez Golf Course, and South Park Cemetery. All are closed. There will be no residential trash pickup in Roswell today. Today's collection will be moved to Tuesday and Tuesday's collection to Wednesday. The municipal landfill is also closed today. Municipal courts will not operate. At least 2 people are confirmed dead in the Spring River flooding, according to the New Mexico State Police. The National Guard rescued 290 people, including 38 who had to be hospitalized. Officially, the Weather Service said 5.78 inches of rain fell on Saturday, surpassing the old record of 5.65 inches set back in 1901. 5.78 inches of rain is 4 times the average rainfall rate for the month of October. In Artesia, the traffic lights at 1st and Main are still flashing. The nearby railroad crossing arms are not working properly, so the crossing is closed. A BNSF crew from Roswell was unable to get out of town on Sunday to respond to Artesia, so a crew from Lovington is being dispatched today. This is causing a problem for the main road out of Artesia. Motorists can still cross east on East Hermosa. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
It's time for the Chaves County Sports Report. The Roswell Eyes saved the best for last. Their showdown Friday night with the Artesia Bulldogs in Artesia. Roswell, and by the last, I mean the last quarter, Roswell trailed 34-22, but then rallied for 22 straight points, ended up winning the game by a score of 44-40. Roswell next will be playing at Mayfield this Saturday at 1. Goddard loses to Mayfield 28-20. That was at the Wool Bowl. Dexter is 9-0 on the season. 38-2 thrashing of Hot Springs, and that took place at Hot Springs. Meanwhile, NMMI beats Mac Ruidoso 45-13, and it was Hagerman falling to Mesilla Valley in 8-man football by a score of 53-0. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell Talk FM 106.5.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We're getting back into a pretty nice pattern for the next few days, maybe a few lingering clouds today. We'll be in the mid-70s for the Roswell area, mid-80s for Carlsbad, and about 80 for Artesia on the afternoon highs today. Clear and upper 40s to low 50s for the overnight hours. Sunshine on Tuesday, upper 70s to low 80s. Wednesday looks good. This is meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward & Son Insurance Agency. Auto and home, life and health, personal and commercial. Bonds too, since 1925. We have the coverage for you. Innovation, service, integrity, and knowledge. J.S. Ward & Son Insurance Agency.
You have a life, places to go, things to do, people to see, but it's hard to enjoy life when you have pain. You don't have to live that way. Softwave Therapy from Premier Chiropractic in Roswell can help you. Softwave's cutting-edge technology is non-invasive and can help your body heal. This new technology uses therapeutic energy waves to activate the body's dormant stem cells to promote natural healing. Sessions are quick with short treatment times. Start healing today. Call Premier Chiropractic at 623-2900 or visit healthyroswell.com. Disney.com.
Mulan has the highest kill count of any Disney character. When asked for comment, Buzz Lightyear responded, "To infinity and beyond." Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 8:34, and joining us in studio this morning, City Councilor Christina Arnold back with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing? Everybody doing okay? I know you were out and about busy. I know you and Juliana Halverson, other city councilor, were really out and about reporting and checking in on people and just, doing city councilor stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, I will say that I slept hard last night because it was a long, emotional day.
Did you have one of those petometer, the little things that measure your walking? Because I imagine you probably clocked some miles yesterday.
No, actually, yesterday morning I got up about 6:40 and just threw something on, layered and put my rain boots on, and just started walking.
Excellent. Well, you, and then obviously, and big thank you to you and Juliana, because I know I shared as much as I caught. I may have missed one or two, but you guys were pretty much all over recording video footage. Obviously at the convention center with, of course, they had a dance there Saturday night, and some of those folks got stuck on the roof overnight up there. And so you happened to be at the convention center when the fire department was getting them off the roof. So we got footage of all that up there, but just various places around, mostly around Spring River area of where some of the flooding was continuing and the damage afterwards. And like a lot of your footage, I looked at it, and that's what I think a lot of people got a sense. It's like, man, it looks like a war zone in part of downtown right now.
So that was actually my goal, because I woke up feeling helpless.
Yeah.
And so I knew people were going through stuff, a lot of flooding, a lot of different scenarios.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know how else to help except for just go record what was going on in my ward. So basically, that's why I didn't say a whole lot. I just told people where it was, so they knew.
Let the things tell its own story.
Yeah. Just giving people information of what was going on. In Ward 1, the downtown area was hit pretty hard.
And at the time it was so needed because everyone woke up, the storm, obviously, like you said, if you were in higher ground, like just happened the north end, that really didn't get impacted that much compared to downtown and south end and other lower lying areas of this area. So it is really like, wow, that was really bad and everything. And then some people probably got up about their day and like, I'm going to go to my morning coffee and do my route, get ready for church, whatever you're going to do.
Or why isn't Sam's open? Yeah. I don't even know if Sam's was open.
And so, that's kind of what but if you were downtown and it was a different story. And so, and this is, matter of fact, it's just kind of funny you had mentioned this because I was just talking with Brian Luck earlier, and he was just talking about really some of the biggest issues they're having is convincing people that weren't impacted how serious the impact was.
Exactly.
And so you guys really kind of did that job of as a scribe and really brought a lot of that for folks, and so that was really appreciated here too. Now from the city perspective, where things at line? I know pretty much any city public space like the museums, the zoo, the aquatic center, library, these are all closed until
Police
further
department,
notice.
Sanitation or dump.
And I imagine those will vary depending on damage assessment and repairs and to those various facilities. The zoo, I've heard it got pretty beat up, and it might be a while on the zoo.
So actually, I think that's going to be the story with a lot of our city places. As I talked to the deputy director, Mike Matthews, this morning, as we speak, the administration is kind of sitting down and trying to determine a lot of where we're headed. Right now, the waters have subsided, and so we're basically in a recovery and cleanup, planning for recovery and cleanup.
Yeah.
Because
a lot of debris, a lot of vehicles, a lot of dirt, a lot of just stuff that needs to be.
We have, as a city, you have big questions that need to be answered, such as where's the staff going to go? What does you have the adult center shut down. I mean, the adult center is, I did put out footage of it. It is sad. It's sad because the mud and the water lines are huge. Our museum, the convention center.
Hopefully put it this way, the museum, we can fix the walls, we can fix the floor. You can't replace the art. That's the part I'm worried most about.
Right, and with the height of the lines,
So I believe that Carolyn, the director out there, was out there yesterday, and they've organized a small cleanup inside.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but those are some big questions. Also, where do you hold your council meetings?
Because that building is, well, you saw the convention center.
I did, and
it was a couple feet of water inside.
There was, and I looked in, and the diocese was, of course, covered and intact, and it's high up, but the room itself is destroyed. So you start thinking, where are we going to hold these official functions? And that's kind of what they're working on this morning.
So just spitball. I know it's early. I mean, are we talking like a year before we see anything in that convention center? I mean, is it that bad where they're going to have to do major renovations, you think, or is it just a lot of cleanup? I know it's early, but I'm just
to assess the damage.
Yeah.
Even the cleanup and hopefully the walls, hopefully the damage, the water damage, just for it sitting in there, it could actually create black mold. You have so many things, the remediation of it.
It's just it's like that place was just redone here. Last several years, last 4 or 5 years here. So it's like sad.
It is very sad, and I'm actually grateful when I learned that I think there was 100 people that went up on the roof, and they had internal ladders. There were 3 of them that helped them climb up onto the roof. Just that kind of thinking, But yes, I would actually kind of give everybody hold out for we're looking at a year, if not more.
Yeah, and I imagine some of these other facilities, that depending on how much they're impacted and things too. Just gee whiz curious, how the aquatic center have you heard, and the rec center have you heard? I know they're closed till further notice, but have you heard or heard any reports if they're pretty messed up or not?
Well, I actually did run into Jim Burris, Parks and Rec director, yesterday. He's the one that showed me the adult center. He said it was pretty much okay.
Good.
Yeah. So it made it.
Again, another place we just sunk a bunch of money into recently, and that a lot of people are liking using and stuff.
One place I have not had a report on that I'm pretty nervous about is the Roswell Police Department. It's a location off of 2nd.
Sure.
It was flooding on its own as it was, and it's actually.
And let's face it, that's not the nicest, most up-to-date building in the planet.
No, as a matter of fact,
it's pretty archaic.
It's been on our minds on how do we actually create a public safety building, and because I've always kind of been nervous that the floods that they have had have left possible mold, and it's not safe for our employees.
It could be a health and safety issue, that facility at this point. Yeah,
that is always in the back of a lot of our.
It was creepy before
minds.
that in certain parts of that building.
Yeah, that is actually something we definitely need to be assessing. But we do have a lot of cleanup ahead of us.
Sure,
a lot of cleanup, and I will say good news is that we, losing people in something like this, that was probably part of the most emotional part of yesterday, was the not knowing who's missing, who's out here, could be in the bottom of this river.
And I haven't heard anything official. I've still heard reports of loss of life. I've seen a few things on social media, people saying, so I know we've lost some. But as far as reports on officials, I have no idea.
So I
really skeptical.
I would not say that we have an official. I know there's been 2 confirmed,
and it may be a while before we do. I mean,
well, and that's kind of the thing. I will say this as a positive. Well, actually, it's not a positive because I don't want to say it like that.
Sure.
But we have 2 confirmed. There was a report of 1 out in the county. But here's the positive aspect: no one is being reported missing any longer.
Accounted for.
Everyone is so far accounted for, but we still don't know because you can have.
But that's the best outcome in a situation like this you can ask for, because
you could have someone, let's say from Texarkana, having passed through, and we not know or that they're missing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean they could just been diddy bopping through town when that flash hit and swept them up, and if we didn't know they were here to begin with, and you're absolutely right. I mean that happens all the time, especially up north. I mean you almost hear that every month. A case of something happened on the interstate, they die or what happens, and
they don't know who it is,
and no one knew they were there, and where'd this person? And then about a month later, oh yeah, it was my aunt. They were traveling, and we found them, and
That's why I've partially been willing to put in a tracker in my arm or something. This is exactly the reason.
Or at least keep that phone on.
Yeah, I battle with that one all the time. Yeah,
it's a double-edged sword here, but obviously, just a couple city notes here. Trash day's been moved and all that. So they're treating it like a holiday. So basically, if today was your trash day, it'll be tomorrow. If tomorrow's your trash day, it'll be Wednesday. That's
yes,
basically it.
we have some work to do on repairing the dump.
Sure, I'll say. Imagine the landfill flooding at the landfill is not a good thing.
Not a good thing. It sets
So,
everything off, so they have to allow for settlement and stuff like that.
how did the water treatment? I know you and I got to tour that thing, and I know, but I imagine getting foreign water into that process can wreak real havoc on that. So
That was actually, I had a discussion on that with Mr. Matthews because we had different types of water dumping in an overload of water, which absolutely can just totally turn off that scientific process.
and it's a chemical balance.
Yes. And so as soon as he said that, I knew because of our walkthrough, I understood that there's a science behind treating that water and throwing foreign in there and more water than you're used to, and it just hit that whole system. And
Absolutely.
So they had to recalibrate.
Gotcha. I imagine all those pools are going, though. They got however many of those big pools are, and I imagine they're all probably working overtime right now to compensate for some of that.
I actually probably need to go spend some time out there to meditate because of the water sound,
That's right. Bring a nose clip because it does get a little right.
It does. Just put some menthol up in here. I'll be fine.
That's right. But as far as, of course, if people have questions about anything, don't hesitate to call City Hall. Water bill issue, maybe not the bill part, but, those kind of infrastructure issues, if you're dealing with those, your water bill, water pipes hanging out and all that, don't hesitate, call City, get that on the list. Gas lines, all those kind of stuff.
All of it, yes.
Yeah.
The damage, and this is kind of a big concern, as you're going up the Spring River corridor, there were tons of houses in there that were kind of, that were seriously affected by, at least 1 foot of water in the basement. And then you have some near Stiles Field on the I'm trying to think, near Sunset. That whole area south of town, we had a berm, the berm that broke in 2021, or it leaked again and it hit the air center and it hit all the houses in that area. So we're going to have a lot of people needing remediation.
Yeah,
we've got to watch out. Companies coming in here, and also insurance claims. There's going to be a lot of work for everyone.
Speaking of the air center, obviously the flights are canceled today. I think even tomorrow, and then they're assessing. But just have you heard anything like good, bad, ugly, one way or another?
They're going to be assessing this afternoon.
Okay.
To see, probably later around noon or something, to see when flights can actually, continue.
I imagine because there's some low-lying areas down there. I imagine there's probably even still maybe a runway or two that might be underwater down there, depending on how quick the water moves out of there. But,
it is definitely a low-lying area, and with the rain amounts in the berm, just releasing
but say that berm, that was the kind of the straw that broke the camel back there, and once that breaks, then it's game on as far as that water goes.
Yeah, and there was a lot of people concerned that it was like the Two Rivers Reservoir or any of our dams. Most of them held up.
Good.
I do want to say points of difficulty that people are going to have is, so if you're coming down, let's say you're coming down from College and you're heading towards Second or vice versa, you have about 3 to 4 bridges that are no longer safe and they are closed off. So, understanding which ones are open. I think Lee is pretty solid. The one on Richardson, I think, but if those areas are blocked off, it's probably good that people start recognizing which one, and here's the sad part. Bridges take a long time to repair.
Absolutely. Well, they get all that, and even if they look fine because of the amount of water and everything, impacting, if it shifts those beams or shifts those anchors at all, that whole thing could be unstable. And all it takes is one vehicle, one truck to go over it, and it's a tumbleweed.
Well, and that's actually an interesting point. Yesterday, I happened to have been on the bridge by the Adult Center. I think that's Missouri, and it was near Missouri and 8th or 9th or something like that. And I was on the bridge body-wise, but there were huge cracks right at the seams where the actual bridge connects to the side. And I'm standing there, and the cracks were huge. And as I'm standing there, I look over and a car's driving across it. And I'm not the type to normally yell or get mad. But my mama bear came out, and I started yelling.
Like, oh!
I'm like, what are you doing?
Like, that's a crapshoot right there. I would not be doing that.
Yeah. Well, so, he just kind of looked at me like, I was Mama was yelling
Yeah,
at him.
but people don't think about it
No.
because it looks fine. And
But he couldn't see
until it
the
is.
crack. Well,
Yeah.
it's interesting because he drove right over the crack,
Mhm.
and it was a huge gap, and so it was right at that seam. And I was just like,
It's not smart, man.
No.
Yeah. This is humans. We're all, there's a whole hold my beer, mindset on things.
that's actually very interesting because I was also extremely surprised by all of the people just out driving around
Sure.
and filming. It was like
We
it
are-
was an interesting.
Humans are nosy by nature.
I called them looky-loos,
Yeah,
and they were everywhere. They were backing up traffic on Main.
But all of us to a person will be like, you shouldn't be doing this. I'm all right. You know what I mean? That's all of us. We're all that way. Hey, get out of the way. Let them do their thing.
Right, but I'm okay. I'm
all right.
okay, yeah.
We all have that same thing. It's
Yeah,
humans.
well, and my thought was, I totally get the wanting to look around. I'm like, park your car and get out and walk with
For
us.
some, it's a once in a lifetime event type thing you never seen before.
Absolutely.
You're gonna see it.
Well, and there were, a ton of people walking as well. So I really appreciate. I didn't mind the looky-loos. What I
Sure.
minded is the traffic.
Sure.
Because we had emergency.
the cars and everything are in the way. If you're just-
Emergency
yeah.
services needed to get through, and they
Sure.
would have to wait in a long backed up line on Main.
Absolutely, yeah, especially during these critical hours. And it's going to continue today as cleanup efforts go. If you really don't have a reason to be out, stay home today. There's schools closed, a lot of businesses. Check in with the businesses and places you got to go to. Like I said, most city stuff, like I said, is closed or shut down today. Counties, the same way here. Matter of fact, we'll have Bill Williams in next hour kind
Nice.
of talking some county stuff here. But, if you don't have to go out, don't go out. And like I said, but if you
Or
do have
just
work,
get to where you're going.
or get to where you're going, stay there.
Because that
yeah.
was the interesting part. People would just stop in the middle of the road, and I would see them with their phone, and I'm like, what the
Yeah.
heck? They're just.
Well, they got to get their followers up too. There's that side
There
too.
is that side. There is that side.
Absolutely. But if you are impacted, you need help here, please don't hesitate to call the city. If you've got city resources that are in, the street lights down, any of these types of things, please report that to the city. I know the city has on the city website, they have that fix it form.
Yes.
You can try that thing, but if it's something more pressing, maybe just go ahead and call City Hall direct and get those put on the order so they can get the list out and they can get the crews. Comes
Yes.
from road crews and water crews and utility crews they're out and about as we speak, doing what they got to do.
We do have an infrastructure meeting this afternoon.
Okay.
So, and it is going to continue, as scheduled.
Okay. Is that going to be at City Hall?
It's at City Hall.
How did that building? Is that everything to your knowledge? Okay, there.
Everything. I just went in it.
It's downtown, so it's not as
Yes.
low lying as down by the convention center.
Correct. Yeah. I did just go in it. It looked fine. I didn't
Okay.
see, and the basement may have, but I seriously doubt it. But we do have that infrastructure meeting today at 2. So
Okay.
if you want to get online and watch it,
Absolutely.
or link. But
Again, it's at the city's website, roswell-nm.gov. You'll find a link.
under agendas and committees.
Yeah, you'll find the link to watch that meeting.
That is, yes.
And I think if you do choose or wish to comment, there is a button that allows you to request that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and I'm excited because I have a feeling we'll learn a lot about the infrastructure
Yeah.
damage that's been assessed at this point.
I'm sure the
But
department heads and their people have been since Saturday night going out and about looking and fixing. I'm sure they're all out yesterday at every park, every city structure, seeing, assessing and triaging what's going on some of this stuff.
Yep,
So.
absolutely. I'm just so happy that that we actually are, considering what we went through.
Yeah.
It's a good. I mean, it's a.
From the city council perspective here, I know I saw a little bit with the governor and talking. Have you heard anything from state-wise from that they've got planned, or have they reached out to you guys? I know the mayor's been talking a little bit.
The mayor was really active. He was up a lot of the night. He was out conducting traffic. I have several pictures of him conducting traffic.
I did see some of those.
I was actually very surprised.
Yeah.
He can actually work a group of cars. He's really good at telling them where to go. But
he's got something to fall back on after
yes,
the mayor thing.
Absolutely. But he actually made a lot of calls yesterday to
Good.
state officials,
Good.
federal, and I do believe we have the lieutenant governor coming in to assess tomorrow.
Okay, because I didn't know. Because I know, like
Actually,
we were
maybe
talking-
later today. But
Okay, because I know, like we were talking with Brian, and they said, from school bus that might be something from that thing. But I would imagine too, the state when it comes to, getting water, power, getting whatever resources need. If I'm sure the state will. Because I imagine at some point, I don't know if I imagine they're FEMA and some of these folks probably start entering the picture
I
here
was
in a little
told
bit
that
too.
FEMA actually came in yesterday.
Okay.
I know that our Karen Sanders with our emergency response actually filed for a state of emergency with the state, and I do believe they're looking into filing a federal state of emergency. We've had planes, helicopters, things going over to assess the damage.
Sure.
We really do want to encourage any officials that come in to actually see the ground damage
Sure.
because it looks different.
I was about to say, I hope they saw it earlier because
Right, because the flood, without the flooding,
yeah, and to be honest, our weather is cooperating
With us.
for the better as far as getting this stuff out of here quick. So I don't want them to come too late. Like, oh, you're fine.
That's exactly what we're kind of, because
Yeah.
if you saw it several days, so
Yeah.
it's better that they actually walk the ground because you can see it. But it was actually kind of neat because the sun came out yesterday, and it was just here comes the sun, and that helps with drying everything
Sure.
out.
And I was so glad that we missed the boat on that second wave of storms and stuff last night.
Yes.
That was the biggest blessing I think we could have had at that time. Was that was the storm that did what normally does for Roswell and parts around us and goes away. We were thankful for that one.
I would
Yeah.
totally agree. I was very worried. So what I did with my basement is I just prepared for the worst and hoped for the best. And
Yeah.
luckily the best came. So because it went around us.
I know this is off, but I'm just gee whiz curious. Now granted, we got way more rain than pretty much everybody else. I was looking at the weather reports on Sunday, and you'd see 1 inch here, 2 inches here, and then you see Roswell, and there's our 6 inches or whatever the official number was. That all said and done, but just gee whiz curious. Ruidoso, they got some rain with those burn scars. Did they do okay? I know we got so wrapped up in our world here. I'm hoping
I did not
they did
hear
okay too with those burn
any
scars.
negative reports.
Good.
I did have a couple friends
The fact
who were
I
out there
didn't
and
hear
they said it
nothing.
wasn't bad.
The fact I didn't hear nothing's good news, but I was kind of thinking, it's like, man, if we got what we got here, think about this with burn scars.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my goodness.
Yes.
And that would not
Well,
be good.
I know that storm was moving north, so my mother was up in Santa Fe, and she was kind of talking about how she was stuck in place because the rain was just, it was a whole lot.
Sure.
I think that the difference that we experienced was that storm system sat on top of us instead of moving
It was
quickly.
waves, yeah.
It was just like a slow walking turtle going over us.
To be honest, it reminds me of that time here. What was it, about 10 years ago? And I'm not sure. This might have been before you were here. But we had a real bad flood, and it impacted the south end this time. And we got 5 inches overnight. It was like one of those deals where it started raining at like midnight, and then it kept going like all night. And it was not maybe to this level because we didn't have this kind of damage, but the south end of town was underwater. I remember for that weekend. And it was another one of those deals. It was a Saturday night into Sunday, or Friday night into Saturday, I think, actually. But yeah, it was one of those deals. So
I do remember one when I was in high school here.
Yeah.
Actually, I was at Sierra, so it was a minute.
Yeah.
But like late 80s, it was actually pretty bad on that south end.
I'm going to say this was probably around 2014, maybe 2013, somewhere in that ballpark. I don't know. I'm bad at time.
That's okay.
It could have been last month for all I know. But anyway.
No.
We just saw the time. Probably need to wrap up.
Okay.
As always, we appreciate you doing this, and I'm sure folks keep abreast through social media. I know the city is constantly updating their Facebook and social medias on that stuff. There is that infrastructure meeting here this afternoon. If you go to the city's website, you can virtually tune into that, and that way you can kind of get a good picture of kind of what Roswell's dealing with right now and what the plan of attack
I will
is.
try to continue keeping people updated and posted with different things that are
Anything,
happening.
yeah.
Oh, I do want to mention cleanup. I'm going to be working with Keep Roswell Beautiful.
Okay.
There's going to be a cleanup along the the Spring River corridor.
I was about to say they got a lot of cleaning up to clean up.
Just picking up trash.
Okay.
We're going to work on picking up trash.
Let's start there.
Wednesday at 8:30, we're meeting at the DeBrennan parking lot.
So come on out if you've got time and like to
Bring
do it.
trash bags and
bring
and
bags,
gloves
but
if you
I'm
got
sure
them.
they'll have some gloves and stuff for you if you need it and all that. And
So,
I know
8:30
yeah.
Wednesday morning, DeBrennan Stadium.
Excellent. Let's start. And this is
That's our cleanup. We're starting.
Let's clean up our town again and
Yep.
get city. Everybody's gonna do their part, but this is kind of we all need to roll up our sleeves, help your neighbors, be this, do it. Do what Roswell does. When Roswell, like when Ruidoso comes, we do our thing. Now we got to do it for each other.
Absolutely.
Now it's time to do it for each other.
And we are better together, and that's one
Absolutely.
beautiful thing about this Roswell community. Better together.
Time to rally and to be honest, kind of the convention center thing and that whole deal, like it does kind of a poignant moment. It's like, yeah, there's 6 Stillwater, but they're still doing family. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And so that was kind of a weird moment where you're like, despite the thing, we're still
family.
kind of a neat little
Absolutely.
reminder.
That's the beauty about Roswell.
Yeah. By the way, your flag pick too. I think that's going to be one of our test of time ones. That one where that flag pole's all beat up, but there's the American flag.
Yes.
I shared that one.
Oh yeah, that's a great one. That flagpole was put up by someone who found the flag on the ground, and they just picked something up, did that.
Nice.
That was why it's so touching to me.
Yeah, but I think that might be one after it's all said and done. That's going to be one of those images when they think of this time. That might be one that just kind of lingers. So.
Absolutely.
Thank you as always, and appreciate it. And of course, anything else we can do, let us know, and we'll be doing it. Or anything from the city, anything we can do, the mayor, anybody else, let us know. We're here to help.
Absolutely.
Good
Thank
deal.
you so much for giving me a moment.
Anytime. And man, it's 9 o'clock. Time for news. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, or Roswell, New Mexico.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Jeremy House. The United States is investigating a leak of classified documents related to Israeli military plans.
The documents in the unauthorized release assess Israel's plans to attack Iran. They note that Israel continues to move military assets in place to conduct a military strike in response to Iran's ballistic missile attack earlier this month. It was not initially known if the documents were leaked or hacked. The information appeared entirely gathered through the use of satellite image analysis. A U.S. official told the Associated Press that the top-secret documents appear to be legitimate. Greg Clugston, the White House.
An Israeli attack in Lebanon has killed several Lebanese National Army soldiers.
The Israeli military has apologized for a strike in southern Lebanon that killed 3 Lebanese soldiers, adding it struck a truck on Sunday that had entered an area where it had previously targeted a Hezbollah truck transporting a launcher and missiles. Israel's allies, war-weary residents of Gaza and others have expressed hope that Sinwar's death would pave the way for an end to the war. But both Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and Hamas have vowed to keep fighting until they achieve their goals. I'm Charles de Ledesma.
The presidential campaign in North Carolina is playing out in the aftermath of a devastating hurricane and a tumultuous governor's race. With 15 days until Election Day, North Carolina is critical to the Electoral College math for both Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump and Democratic candidate Kamala Harris. Cubans have taken to the streets in protests as widespread blackouts stretched into their 4th day. Their concerns have been heightened as Hurricane Oscar crossed the island's eastern coast with winds and heavy rain. On Wall Street, the Dow is down more than 220 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 866-755-5300. That's 866-755-5300. Again, that's 866-755-5300. Call us right now.
Gold Company, I trust.
If you think of frozen burritos and salty snacks when you buy food at a gas station, you might be surprised during your next stop.
Convenience stores offering more and better, though not necessarily healthier choices. From 7-Eleven to Quick Trip and others, many chains are looking for grab-and-go inspiration, adding sit-down seating, expanding their coffee menus, and even thinking of made-to-order meals. This move is happening as convenience stores are now seeking ways to offset the extreme slowing sales of cigarettes, maps, and soft drinks. Jason Walker reporting.
New GoFundMe tools will make it easier to circulate causes across online platforms in a push to cater toward younger generations. The crowdfunding site hopes to meet digital natives in the online spaces where they frequently advocate. News and analysis at townhall.com. A man charged in a fatal New York City subway incident is set to stand trial.
A U.S. Marine Corps veteran charged with manslaughter for placing a man in a deadly chokehold aboard a New York City subway train last year will soon have his day in court. The trial of Daniel Penny in the May 2023 death of Jordan Neely opens Monday in Manhattan. Witnesses say Neely, who is black, had been shouting and begging for money on a Manhattan train when Penny, who is white, held him in a chokehold for more than 3 minutes. Penny has pleaded not guilty to second-degree manslaughter and criminally negligent homicide. Neely's death became a flashpoint in the nation's debate over racial injustice. Julie Walker, New York.
A U.S. Army general says the deployment by the U.S. military of a mid-range missile system in the northern Philippines was, quote, incredibly important. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The tabloid said, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Tres Inviernos.
Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday.
Yes.
Post storm weekend.
Mm-hmm. Everything's got a very interesting patina on it.
Yeah.
It's out Ron Roswell way.
Brown hue.
A nice little brown hue, yeah. All the definition of the roads is pretty solidly gone. You got to really focus to see the lines.
Desert brown is the new in.
That's right. Brown is the new black.
That's right. Of course, obviously, a lot of closures, schools, many of the city resources like the zoo and the museum and library all are closed until further notice.
We need to see if we can get in touch. I'll try to today in touch with somebody from a representative from the zoo, just so we can kind of get an assessment about what's happening out there.
Yeah, it's pretty extensive from what I'm hearing. I do want to mention, according to all the Joy Centers are closed today.
As a senior circle, by the way, according to our chat.
Senior circle, yeah, I'm kind of doing that. And then Dr. Rodriguez Audiology and Hearing Center is going to be closed until further notice. I guess they have some cleanup and repairs to take care of. So until that happens, they're going to be closed as well. So those are some updates I got on the text or on the chat on the video stream this morning here. So share those there as you get them, and we'll pass them along as I see them.
By the way, and this was just something that kind of crossed my mind yesterday. If you are someone in the area in town who has access to equipment like a shop vac, push brooms, things that can be utilized for cleanup. Yeah, things that suck or things that push stuff off to other places. You don't necessarily even have to, if you don't have time, volunteer your time, but if you can volunteer those tools, that would be fantastic. Because Roswell's going to be running low on sump pumps and...
Sorry, don't mind me. When you say these things, I just get images in my head. And this one, I just literally had a guy with a shop vac going down the street. Can I suck anything for you?
Suction!
Anything needs sucking?
Suction!
I can suck it up for you real quick.
There you go. Just drive up and down the road. Get yourself You know what? Oh, it's down the floor. I can't. It's get yourself a bullhorn and just drive around going, suction? Anybody need suction? Can I offer suction to anyone? Oh, there we go.
There you
Perfect.
Go. It ended up
Thank
on
you,
my
sir.
bag over here.
Can I offer anyone suction at this time? Anyone? Suction?
Yeah, just go there with the shop vac.
Just bring it in your shop vacs or, push brooms, things like that. I'm saying if you have the resources available, make them available because the rental places in town are going to run out of inventory pretty quick.
Yeah. Well, it's just get involved. It's like we clean up. People get out there and help each other out. Help your neighbors out. Be if you've got and you can help, do so. If you need, let people know and let's see what we can do for you.
That's
kinda where
we're trying to be a hub of help.
Yeah, exactly. So
a hub of help and a hub of suction. That's fun. I wish I had a shop vac now just so I could drive around town asking people if they need help. See, you can have some fun with it.
maybe we can get Megadeth involved and they can redo and do a. It's a symphony of suction.
Of the suction.
Acted like a shop vac.
Well, I saw them out on Main Street. I think the best way I could think to describe it is they were pumping out the water in the Spring River itself because the level is much lower now.
Yeah.
It's back to a reasonable level.
Yeah.
But the damage remains.
It is. It's kind of, well, that's kind of thing you see with flooding. It goes from one extreme to the other. It went from all of it till now it's all gone.
What was crazy is some of the places you're driving around and you see some of the damage, and then your brain starts building scenarios.
Yeah.
Like over by Spring River, the zoo, excuse me. There's a place right where the walkway is over the bridge, and there's these two tubes. I'm guessing they're like for septic or whatever or sewage. But these two tubes that go across the bridgeway. Stuck in between these two tubes is a telephone pole.
Ooh.
So my mind goes to the water level was so high that this thing went up in and got stuck, got wedged in these two pipes.
Yeah.
That's an insane amount of water.
Not to mention the force of which that water was moving to move that pole.
Snap that pole off.
That's why they tell you not to get in the standing water, because if it can move a pole in your truck like that, it's going to have no problem shooting you wherever it wants to.
Yeah.
So that's why they tell you not to do these. So, we do have folks from the county. I know Bill Williams is here. Did I hear Daradana's here too? I thought I heard somebody say that, but maybe I'm wrong. And Alex Palomino as well. And so we're going to get talk with them here about county and what they've got going on and what they've heard and what's going on there, and kind of give an update for folks there from a county perspective too here. And I think I heard them talking with the governor and so they may even have some state stuff to tell us too.
Yeah, I think there might be some people coming in for like a state emergency
assessments.
situation.
Yeah, I'm sure they're all, if they're not here already, probably doing their assessments and determinations and things. But it sounds like we're going to be needing some help here, especially like if you missed it, I highly recommend you go back. We had Brian Luck, superintendent, join us last hour, and to be honest, it's not the schools so much that are a problem. There's some leaks and things, but they're pretty fine. It's the buses. That's the problem. All these buses are sitting out there. Many of them had water up to the engine blocks, and they can't get them started. They're trying to get them going, and they're assessing, and so that's our big hurdle right now.
So Tuesday's kind of up in the air.
Buses, yeah. What more than likely? Don't quote me right now, but way the tea leaves are going, you're probably going to have at least one more day of no school. The way it's looking, that's not set in stone yet. That's not guaranteed. Kids, don't tell your parents you don't have school yet. Don't you play that game. Don't you put that mojo on me. But what I'm saying is that's what the tea leaves are saying right now.
I was raised Southern Baptist, thusly with a very healthy amount of guilt.
Yeah.
I know there's got to be at least one kid somewhere in the Roswell area that prayed for a long weekend, and then this happened, and now he feels horrible about it. Jimmy, I just want you to know, it's not your fault. Okay? Hey, right here, it's not your fault.
Or he's thinking, my prayers are real powerful.
It's like, wow, I did not know the power with which I yielded.
Stay away from the can. Someone's shooting at the can.
He hates those cans.
All right, let's get the hour going. It is a time of serious. Got to bring a couple jokes in. Right?
That's right.
Bring a little levity.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, it is 9:13.
Suction.
Can't offer you an egg in this trying time. It is 9:13. Let's get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We're getting back into a pretty nice pattern for the next few days, maybe a few lingering clouds today. We'll be in the mid-70s for the Roswell area, mid-80s for Carlsbad, and about 80 for Artesia on the afternoon highs today. Clear and upper 40s to low 50s for the overnight hours. Sunshine on Tuesday, upper 70s to low 80s. Wednesday looks good. This is meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 65 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 84% with winds out of the west at 6 miles per hour. The good news is the word rain is not mentioned in the forecast of the next week here. So we're done with that for a bit. And actually, to be honest, weather's actually kind of nice this week. Sunny and 78 today, north winds at around 5 miles per hour. Tomorrow, sunny, highs near 80, winds will be calm. Wednesday, sunny and a high of 82. Northwest winds at around 5 miles per hour. Thursday, sunny and 86. Shoot, might even bust out shorts on Thursday. Friday, sunny and 78. And then the weekend, sunny and 79 Saturday, sunny and 83 on Sunday. So, good news is, whatever cleanup and recovery efforts, the weather should not impact that in any way, shape, or form. All right, it is 9:15. We're going to take a quick 2.5-minute break, and then we'll talk with Bill Williams and Alex Palomino with the Chavez County here and kind of give updates and assessments on what we're dealing with here from the county perspective. That's on the other side. Don't go away.
You there! What are these?
My glasses, Your Highness.
They're incredible. Who made these?
The eyesight in Roswell. Or was it Hobbs? Or maybe Carlsbad.
So well crafted and stylish. So, the eyesight thinks they can challenge my throne with their quality eyewear.
Actually, Your Majesty, I got 2 pair and an eye exam. It was so easy. I did it during my lunch break, and they even took my insurance.
Lunch break? Who gave you a lunch break?
Human resources, Your Majesty.
Silence! I'll get you eyesight!
The Eyesight, now accepting new patients 5 and up in Roswell, Hobbs, and Carlsbad.
3 locations?
Clearly the best in sight.
Help benefit the Wounded Warrior Project with H.F. Sinclair, Saturday, November 9th at the Veterans Mission 5K Fun Run, Walk, and Ride. This 5K Fun Run will begin and end at Beige Veterans Park in Artesia, and the course will take you around Eagle Draw, Walk or Run. Kids 6 and under can join on their bikes. Pre-registration is $25 for adults and teens, kids $10, and your 4-legged companion only $5, with all proceeds to benefit Wounded Warriors. For more information or to sign up, visit hfsnm.com/veterans-mission-5K.
At Artesia General Hospital, we know it's early, but schedule your mammogram today and save. Call 855-RAD-EXAM and save 10% off mammograms scheduled through October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And get a refreshing drink discount from Kith & Kin in Artesia or Blue House in Carlsbad. We use leading-edge, FDA-approved Genius 3D mammography technology to deliver more accurate results faster and with more comfort. Women over 40 do not need a referral for yearly screenings. Learn more at artesiageneral.com/mammogram.
Hi, Chef Anthony Noble here with the Valley Cafe at 801 West Brasher. We love serving you our delicious meals for lunch and dinner. The next time you're in on Monday or Tuesday, bring the family and take advantage of our kids' dinner special. With the purchase of an adult meal, you get a kids' meal for 20% off. That's right. Get the kids fed, save a little money, enjoy what I got cooking in the kitchen. Come visit us at 801 West Brasher in the Orange Building across from Church on the Move in Roswell. We have it all. Come taste and see.
Don't forget, you can also find the Valley Cafe on our website at toasttab.com/Valley Cafe. Also on DoorDash, Grubhub, and Uber Eats.
Your fingernails grow faster on your dominant hand. Not sure which is your dominant hand? Just wait. You'll nail it. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 18 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, of course, Chavez County Manager Bill Williams back with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
And then Alex Palomino.
Good morning.
Ask for him by name. And I'm guessing, what is your official title with the county? I don't want to botch it up.
Public Services Director.
There you go. I was like, I'm pretty sure he's the guy that with infrastructure, other issues with the county, he's the man.
Alex is the guy that's in charge of a whole lot of stuff at the county, whether it's roads, facility maintenance, volunteer fire departments. I mean, he wears a lot of hats, and of course, he hadn't had much sleep the last couple of days. So we'll see how he holds up with
if it
little
moves
sleep.
things via pipe or via road or via something in Chaves County, Alex is on top of it.
Yes,
sir. Well, yes, I guess your job got very busy over the weekend.
It did. Starting Saturday evening.
But just kind of giving a big picture right now, what we're looking at. How's the county sitting? As far as big picture right now, what do we know? What do we don't know?
I think as far as the far reaches of the county, we're in much better shape than a lot of the people that were closer to the streams and rivers in town.
Gotcha.
Of course, the city of Roswell was really devastated. I'm not saying that there aren't other areas within the county that
I know
have
Dexter,
devastation.
Hagerman did get some impact.
But we have a cleanup throughout the county. We have people who are unfortunately had their homes and cars and other things damaged throughout the county, but certainly the bulk of it is pretty much downtown Roswell. And
I know if anybody paid attention, you probably saw the sheriff's department. They were updating constantly. Sheriff Charles, I mean, if I remember right, Sheriff even had himself a little pickle with some of this stuff on here. So, which just goes to prove what we're trying to tell people, and what they've been trying to tell people. And we continue to try to tell people,
and
stay home.
And if anything good came out of anyone getting stuck on their car, the sheriff, who has a good audience, a big following, sat right on top of his police unit and filmed what can happen if you make a mistake. And, I was big of him.
That's a heck of an instruction video or whatnot.
To point that out, but he did a good job.
Going way above the turkey, lighting the turkey on fire on Friday at Christmas thing.
And so, like I say, Alex has been involved in the emergency management portion of this.
Yeah.
We have people from all over.
So, what kind of reports you're seeing? Like, what's coming into you guys right now?
Well, one of the main things is I just want to statistically for numbers, if people want to get an idea, there's close to 500 rescues that have happened over the last couple of days.
In the last 24 hours or 48 hours, yeah.
And we have lots of folks coming in and helping, which is great. Once again, the communities come together, RPD and the local fire department, the volunteer fire departments, and everybody, the state, so all law enforcement's come together really swift and good on that.
How's been the dispatch side of things? I know I did see some stuff, and I don't know why we have to tell people this, but please do not call 911 for insurance claims or anything that's not emergency related. They need every dispatcher handling emergency stuff right now.
Right, and they had to tell people, look, we're going to have to prioritize this. They took care of they triaged that very well. They did a wonderful job, and of course, they've been involved every step of the way.
That's
with the
not what
emergency.
911's for. We need to keep that open for actual emergencies.
And they will be putting out a call bank number for those. That kind of information outside.
Trust me, the insurance people will be rolling in soon.
Yes, outside emergencies. So today will help. Today the governor comes in and will be assessing after 10 a.m. this morning, 10 a.m.-ish. The area should be assessing the area, and then we'll get a little bit more clarity for the insurance side of things for folks.
Is there any?
My role yesterday, Alex has been on the ground working with first responders, the people trying to do recoveries and all those things. And he's also worked on my level as well, too. But yesterday, about sunup, I guess, I started receiving calls from either other counties or Governor Lujan's office, or Senator Lujan's office, phoned right after 6 yesterday. And they're looking to find ways to assist our county and with the hardships that we have. I've had county managers and county representatives from San Juan County, Curry County, Roosevelt County, Lee County, Eddy County, Lincoln County, and
that's always nice.
Otero County have all reached out and said, what can we do? What can we do to help? Part of it, we may be able to utilize some heavy equipment on the repair of the roads out in the county later on from, southern part, maybe Eddy County can help. Northern part, maybe Roosevelt County will help us, but we'll identify those needs as the days come. The first thing is to take care of the real safety sensitive issues that Alex has been working on.
Well, I imagine too, over the course of the thing, you're assessing your own equipment. See what, or what our road equipment's still good to go, what got damaged in flood itself and all that.
So City Fires has lost some equipment in the floods, and RPD's lost some equipment in the floods. And so, county and city folks have been bringing extra equipment to help out
fill
with
that void here.
Fill that void. And so everybody's impacted. Just want to first give a thank you to Eric Keller and the Ruidoso management team. Their emergency manager, they've come in, set up shop. Awesome. Lincoln County as well. We've got Otero County in. Donnie Anna's helping out with EMS. So a lot of our neighbors coming in to help out, set up shop, and,
and
they're a little bit more experienced in it. Unfortunately.
Well, and Ruidoso just went the whole thing of their own, and so it's glad to see they're able to, because I'm sure they're still recouping from what they're doing with that stuff. So to be able to drop what they're doing to help us it's
absolutely
kind of a
they're still dealing with
appreciate it. It is that, and it gets back to what you were saying earlier, Bill. Literally every county in the state of New Mexico is reaching out saying, hey, what can we do to help here?
Counties are our local representation too. In Santa Fe, Jared Hembry helped us out considerably yesterday. We finalized our emergency declaration for Chaves County. Of course, Chaves County always says Chaves County and City of Roswell. It includes the entire area, whatever it is.
We're joined at the hip here.
The entire community is covered under ours. I believe today the city is going to have a meeting and get theirs passed.
Yeah, they're having a 2 o'clock, I want to say. And if you go to the city's website, roswell-nm.gov, there's a link so you can watch it from that way. You don't have to get out and be at the meeting. You can watch it.
And so we got that done. That's the first step, as we always say. And there is so much public infrastructure that is damaged and involved in this. It should, I believe, reach to the federal level. And so that will kick in other resources from the federal government to assist people in their time of need.
Based on what's going on
in other areas.
I don't know. We're kind of low on that list, I'm guessing, right now. They're still dealing with stuff in Florida and Carolinas and everybody else.
I'm going to pray and continue to think that our government is going to step in and help us in our time of need. We'll see.
So. Yeah, it is an election year, so.
But our local government, Santa Fe,
but the state
our
is doing their thing. Yeah, that's kind of, because at this point, I think it's more state that needs to start getting in here and doing their thing.
State and local is, the closer the government is to the people, the more responsive they are, and this is exactly why.
Sure.
It's our homes, our friends, our neighbors who are affected, and so, of course, we want to do everything.
And I know our own National Guard here that was already in town, that's part of the state. They went boots ground running, the moment the flooding started.
Right.
Absolutely. So, National Guard folks have been out, and
state police.
Police.
So we had a lot of state entities that were boots on the ground
already.
Moment one right away.
And another thing I want to thank, and we needed to get the flood control superintendent up to take a look at the infrastructure around the county. We were unable to get a state police helicopter because the fueling requirements, because our fuel tanks, unfortunately, were suspect because they potentially flooded. We don't want to put
contaminated
water in the fuel.
Next thing you know was crash a helicopter.
Yeah, you're an Air Force guy. I mean, you understand the severity of
water tank equals bad.
Yeah, there you go. Man, that was such a technical explanation. I
went to school for that one.
but because the logistics of where they would have to fly out of, how long they could stay up, where they'd have to go back to refuel, all those things, the state police was unable to get us up yesterday. Sure. But a medical helicopter took our person up, and he was able to fly around and take a look at things.
Flood control.
They did identify the diversion. I believe it's diversion number 3 on the Hondo River.
Okay.
It at least topped over. Okay. I mean, yesterday there was so much water flowing you couldn't tell if the entire diversion had blown out.
Sure.
Or if it just topped over. But I live on the South Spring River, and of course, last time when that happened, we had water flowing out of the Hondo for about 2 weeks. The water's already resided.
Receding.
Yeah, there we go.
Water levels are receding. So
I think that might lead us to believe that it only topped over. And actually, I talked to flood control this morning, and they are going to go out and do a physical check now that they can get there because the waters have receded. They can get out.
Yeah, the water's kind of leaving as quick as it came in.
They're still having trouble. Once again, in the same caution we put out to everybody, it's so saturated everywhere. So water isn't really receding as fast as it could, and places are hard to get to. Sure.
So, we got a blessing last night. The fact that the thunderstorm warnings and stuff all kind of petered out last night.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
If we got even a steady drizzle, that could have been enough to kind of tip things back over again, and we're back to
with everything
what we were doing Saturday night all over again last night. So that in and of itself was probably the biggest blessing we've had this weekend.
That's right. And so, as Bill was saying, that was some good news that, wasn't a full breach or anything of the berms. We can't get out there yet to assess the damage. We're trying to get.
Well, I imagine and as you do the assessment, you're going to find a lot more because there's going to be a lot of little stress stuff. Or, anytime you got that forces moving on things, it's just, that's the power of that water. This is why we want you to take, when they tell you if you see standing water, stay the heck away from it.
Absolutely.
You saw it. It's moving pickup trucks. It's moving telephone poles. It's moving things much heavier and larger than you very easily.
Some of the things, of course, that are going to have to be assessed, and Alex, being an engineer, can certainly talk more about this, but the bridges and those things, the state police has kept people from traveling from north to south yesterday. Today, I think it's going to open up a little bit now that we've assessed proper routes, but the bridges and that infrastructure.
That's going to be a lot of assessment
State
for
Road
years here. Probably.
While we're on that, State Road 249 is one of the current closures.
It's one of the more popular traveled routes that is greatly impacted right now.
US 285 at mile marker 88. So essentially the Felice River Bridge, everybody saw that it collapsed.
Yeah.
So again, the power of water. Red Bridge Road is currently closed as well for the bridge assessment. We've been working with the DOT, so the DOT bridge inspectors have been out monitoring.
Good.
And it's been a little bit slow to get those back open.
And this
I know
is
State Road 2.
It's dangerous. This is dangerous. because that power. You got to fine tooth comb these bridges because. We don't want it to find out when the school bus drives over this bridge and that bridge isn't going to work.
So number one was letting the water level recede a little bit, and then number two is checking the structural integrity of the bridge itself.
They got to take this very seriously, folks. And please understand
and
that
many sections of road were torn out as well. I've personally have seen quite a few areas of road that are.
To be honest, things that look perfectly normal, that's the things you got to study the most right now. When the bridge is gone, you're like, well, okay, we've got to figure this one out. But when that bridge looks completely fine, you're like, all right, what's going on behind the scenes here?
Yeah, as Bill said, there's also assessment that's happening to state and local roads, county roads, as far as where water crossed, not necessarily being a bridge. A lot of pavement got blown out
absolutely.
So
this is not something that's going to be fixed this week.
And to my knowledge, the bridge east of Hagerman on the Pecos River, they can't even get there yet. It's the Pecos is out of its.
This is that part we talk about Aurora County and and granted, yes, a lot of us live here in Roswell or this area, and this is the most I guess industrialized of the county here, but. This is the thing. You can go as far as even Dexter Hagerman, where that's still pretty in town, but you're easily desolate out there. And don't get me started on the boot hill.
and we do, fortunately, the boot hill, I started making calls early yesterday morning to some people that live in the boot hills, kind of strategic, and asked them to check with their neighbors.
Yeah.
We were blessed in that it didn't pour rain all over the boot hill as well and blow out and strand a whole bunch of people down there, because that typically will happen in a large rainstorm.
Mm-hmm.
You get dozens of people stranded because a large ravine is out in front of their house.
It's the Wild West out there.
Weather. Yeah. And we've been very fortunate. We have a few places where people are stranded. We have crews out this morning working on that, getting them back reconnected with civilization. But we are fortunate that the Boot Hill area didn't have any of that. The largest amount of rain that I heard from one of the people far south, Chaves County, was 0.8 of an inch.
Okay.
Or half inch, 0.6. So we're fortunate that didn't happen. However, by the same token, we had 9.93 inches in 4 hours.
I was about to say,
at former Commissioner Kim Chesser's house.
I've heard in town about 5 or 6, but I've been hearing reports 8, 9 inches out in the county here.
He told me that the Weather Service was calling him during the storm, saying that you are in the center of the storm. What are you seeing on the ground? He said, I'm seeing a lot of water.
All right. Can you report to us? Seeing my life flash before me.
Yeah, that's it. It's just one of those unusual 100-year plus storm events.
Absolutely. And granted, like we said, our county folks, generally they're built to live on their own a little bit. But, if you need help, please reach out. The county's got resources. People, they're out and about. They're hitting the various communities and trying to do what they can.
Encourage everybody to be patient. And
it will take time.
And understanding. There's a lot of things going on that people don't really realize. A few weeks ago, my pickup was in an accident, so I had it scheduled to go to the body shop this morning and go and pick up a rental.
Mm-hmm.
Never thought anything about it. I have an 8:30 appointment at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. I walked in, and there was at least a dozen people there waiting to get cars because
they didn't have any.
They didn't have anything. You know, my life's pretty easy. I didn't lose mine to a flood.
Sure.
I'm not having to rebuild my home.
Just scheduled.
So
scheduled inconvenience.
So I left without a vehicle, but you know, if that's the worst thing that happens, that's a pretty
Absolutely.
good deal. So,
yeah, that's the thing here is please
be considerate of your
patience.
neighbors.
Please be the good neighbors.
Mhm.
I mean, I haven't heard much of this, but I have heard a few reports of shenanigans and people doing unsavory things, which happens anytime we get a situation like this. But please, let's go the other way. Let's, help your neighbors. These are the people, especially you get out in the county, these are probably people you known 50 years, in one some way, or knew their kids and this and that. We're all, it's time to help out where you can. If you have and you can help, awesome. If you're in need, reach out and let folks come help you. That's what we're
kind of
about.
how it went. Basic level of how it went is yesterday the teams were mobilizing. Everybody's getting their assignments. Emergency management teams. And this includes law enforcement and everybody else. So like today, this morning, as we speak, they're specifically prioritizing everybody's tasks. Roswell Fire is going door to door today in the main swath area.
Okay.
Kind of
those low-lying areas, Spring River adjacent.
They're going to be
areas,
knocking door to door to count for folks and
checking in on everybody.
Checking in on everybody to see it. Everybody's accounted for.
Little triaging.
Of this on foot on the ground, door to door, and so they're going to start prioritizing that way. Then the routes, there's a lot of debris. Everybody's is noticed in town, and you get a lot of folks out there taking pictures. So we ask people to just walk around with caution, stay away from the debris areas.
Don't be part of the
There's
problem.
power lines down, so.
Real quick before we get off the debris, the county has their collection sites for waste. Unfortunately, we can't get to the dump right now.
Yeah, that's
it's
all
flooded
closed,
as well.
yes.
We think it'll be open again tomorrow. So if you can, maybe you can't. If you can hang on to that bag of garbage at your house, if it's not in the way, maybe wait till tomorrow to take it out.
And if you're on city, they're on a holiday schedule. That's what they're treating it. So if today was your trash day, tomorrow's not your trash
and as
day.
many people have noticed, their dumpsters are no longer in the alley.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's
they
going to
went
be
moving.
a lot of issues that we have to deal with. Just
absolutely.
be patient.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Alex.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Unlike downtown where the Spring River or the Hondo continues to flow east towards the river, the landfill is still full of water.
Absolutely,
So, we were working with the director, Abraham Chaparro, out this morning trying to figure out how he can even access those cells.
Well, and that's
out
a
there.
little different because of what's going on in the ground and how that's being done. You just can't wait for it to go down. Like there's a whole science going on there, and you're messing with the dance when that floods up.
And they lost some equipment out there. The roads to get back to those cells.
So it may be a while before
it may be
they
a few
can
days.
start
So
doing
again,
some.
Message to the folks is be patient.
Good news is, like I said, the weather's looks like it's night this week, so that kind of work is probably going to work out well for them. So hopefully it'll be sooner rather than later they can get those stuff
Down
back
power
up and running.
lines, you're saying fences,
Fences, power lines,
Yeah, if you see down power lines, please.
Utility companies have been out assessing as well.
Yeah. But if you see one, report it. Stay away from it.
Stay away from it.
Keep people away from it. Do all those things they tell you in school. That stuff.
As far as like donations and helping out, I know there's a lot of public and neighboring folks that want to help
I'd
out.
turn to the churches. I think churches are probably your best resource. They're
Probably
accepting
the
it
best
and
research.
distributing it. That's probably your best. Turn to your churches and see if they're doing something. And
The emergency management team has set up a community foundation of Southeast New Mexico, and that's where you can donate monetarily. Folks
Okay.
are asking out there how we donate, where do we donate? So that's Community Foundation of Southeast New Mexico. They're not accepting clothing right now.
Okay, they're
Anything
good on
like
that.
They're good on that.
But monies, and to be honest, finances. If you can do financially, because that's a triage thing. That because whatever they need at the time, they say go grab the money. So if they need water, if they need first aid supplies, if they need clothes, if they need bedding, whatever it is, they just go buy it rather than having a supply.
Well,
So
the
if you can do
hotels
that-
are all full. People have been displaced. There have been a few people that have had to have assistance and sheltered in.
I know the
in
fairgrounds
other
is an
areas.
evacuation point. Is there still
And again, for
things going on
livestock.
out there? Is that pretty much?
There is livestock and equipment.
Okay.
I think.
Yeah, I
people have
imagine
been
some
placing
people
out
that are
there.
displaced, they're still living there, but I imagine not new people coming in. At
But
this
you know,
point.
we got a call this morning from the acting county manager in Eddy County and his church. I mean, not part of the county, but again, just the community effort that takes place in something like this.
Yeah.
They want to send water and other supplies and stuff. And well, that's good, but our water supply, to my knowledge, there has no damage. So, shipping in water may not be helpful. We appreciate it, and we will find a use for it because
But
first
we have bigger
responders and
bigger
things
needs and resources.
certainly can use that. But reach out to the Community Foundation of Southeastern New Mexico. Maybe, like you say, make that monetary contribution.
Sure.
Might be better at this point,
and
wait and see what develops.
Work with our charity groups. I'm sure Harvest Ministries, and I know Many Hands and many of our other great organizations. They're beating the bushes, they're doing that triage work. They're going door to door, seeing if people's needs are met. Partner with these groups as much as you can to help, because they're better equipped and they have more resources to get to especially with homeless and that side, because there's a whole hierarchy and things there, and then they have already established those relationships. So rather you going to try and go in there and be the hero,
and figure it out,
just drop off whatever help you can give and let the people that are already in there
and they'll reach out. If they need additional water, they'll ask for additional water. If they need energy snacks or whatever, they'll ask
support
for that.
the experts that are doing what they're doing.
They need the clothing,
and just ask.
But yeah, that's always good. And
bucks
people,
is the big one. Money, because that can go anywhere. So
people have kind hearts and they want to help, and that's what makes our community so strong and great. But do reach out to these people that know what will really be helpful. So
absolutely. And of course, as terms of if you do need these, please reach out. If you don't find the county, city, they'll put you in touch with whatever if they can't help you directly here. So I know for a fact, with the county here, if they can get it to you, they'll let you know.
And as far as county services, the county building is closed today.
Yes.
We expect to reopen tomorrow and have at the very least we'll have limited services.
Okay. How did the building fare, by the way?
Our main county administrative building did okay. I mean,
What
we
about
had
the
some water intrusion. The courthouse, we have some issues, and we're trying to get it back ready for courts to go back into session. So our
courts are all
maintenance
closed today. By the way,
maintenance crews have been working tirelessly, trying to get the water out, trying to get carpeting cleaned, and whatever's necessary.
Well,
and I've been there during a flood at the courthouse. It is an awful lot of work, and a shout out to all those people, not just county but city employees who've been busting it for 48 hours.
Yeah. And plus, it's a historic building, so I imagine you just got to do everything a little different with that building. You know what I mean? You just like even certain materials or certain cleanup. You're like, well, because it's this, you got to do it this way.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it presents its own unique
little bit
problem.
of a challenge.
and the detention facility. We were concerned yesterday morning. We were talking about you couldn't really get from the north side of town to the south side of town. So many of the employees had to hold over and stay over and manage those posts until reinforcements could come.
So they were pulling double duty, triple duty.
The director of the jail, Mr. Briscoe, he took his own personal pickup and navigated through water. It was up in the middle of his doors, and went and picked up the kitchen staff that work for the contractor that works for the county.
Oh, nice.
Brought them into the jail so that they could provide hot breakfast for those people. So they didn't have to, we're going to have sack lunches for days.
Right.
I mean, there have been a lot of people that went out of their way to do good things. So
they kind of hunkered down and made the best of it there at the corrections facility.
Yeah. Right.
So, and they're fine here this morning.
And those people are just as concerned as anyone else, about their loved ones and people they can't get in touch with, and they maybe to another level they can't get in touch with them as easy as we can.
Absolutely.
On the outside.
There's a different level of isolation there. Yeah. Well, that's good that
be considerate.
Everything turned out good there and fine. And to be honest, we're in the big scope of things. When you look at it, we were blessed. I mean, it could have been a lot worse.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there was some lives lost, and there were some folks who needed medical care. But it could have been much worse.
It's when we're all still wrapping our heads around. I mean, you would have never thought your own backyard and you're seeing people sitting on top of trucks just floating down the street. You know what I mean? And we literally had tons of footage of that the other day.
And water in the Civic Center. Yeah, I don't think most people can fathom that.
I know.
Yeah.
It was just the people on the roof. They're literally Sunday morning. There's the Roswell fires sitting up there with a ladder, getting people that spent the night on the roof.
It's a learning experience. People shouldn't underestimate water. I mean, we've had reports of hunters. Hunter that didn't pay attention to the weather or didn't have time to get out. So that was another group we didn't shout out to, was search and rescue, and we had some swift water search and rescue come in from Las Cruces to help out the Game and Fish. The Game and Fish is an
I bet those ham radio guys are probably a useful resource
absolutely
over the last couple days.
Yeah, so
especially when you get out into the boonies where there isn't no other cell communication or any other resource to get a word from one way to another.
Water and flooding is not something to underestimate.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, we literally
the ambulance services. During an event like that, can you imagine the issues that they went through to make sure that they provided those services?
Had to try and get out there.
Find a way to get to the north side, even though the ambulance is stationed on the south side. They did it. They made sure that happened. Warren Yale from the hospital was on the emergency management team. He was there probably since Saturday night as well.
We had some real heroes over the weekend. That's when our first
of course,
responders.
We can't call out everybody's name, but I mean, the police chief was there. You name it. Everybody came together, put any personal stuff aside, and said, "Let's find out what's best for our
we got a job to do, and let's get all this done." And so Alex, from your perspective, what's kind of your marching orders now? What are you like as your triage and things? What's kind of
so it's totally from the infrastructure setup. We're working tight with the city of Roswell and the New Mexico DOT to make sure that the roads, for one, are safe to travel on. If they're closed for a safety issue.
Is that kind of like priority one right now? Is
priority
making sure
one.
roads are passable and safe.
There's a lot of folks calling on headed south to Artesia. A lot of employees that work, whether at FLETC or the oil and gas industry, and some in the medical industry. So, finding them the safest route, providing the state police have provided for essential workers to get back and forth. And again, safety is just number one. I mean, if everybody can look at that bridge on South 285, you understand why we keep mentioning safety. But we're prioritizing those outer-bound, inbound routes to Roswell and Chaves County. And then the next priority would be within town. Obviously, you can go downtown around the Spring River, around the Hondo, anywhere there's a bridge. And
now, if you don't need to, don't.
Please don't.
But if you have a need downtown, then it is available.
You understand what then our next priority will be. Will be safety of those routes and bridges, and then debris. Debris is going to be kind of the third where we need to start clearing it up. So,
I imagine the big stuff, the overturned cars and stuff, but those will get done quicker. But tree branches and that kind of the cake that's how you want to know if something's been impacted by a flood. It'll be caked with that dirt.
And then in conjunction,
high water marks.
And in conjunction of that, because it was so inner city damage for the most part, the utilities, all utilities, city's been working with. Again, the landfill, it's down. They've had some water repairs and sewer repairs that they're having to emergency do. But
I would imagine
and that's another shout out, the sewer department. They were inundated with water. They were there all night, Saturday, Sunday, adjusting valves, making sure that worked so that people's sewage didn't back up in their homes. And that was a monumental task right there, a Herculean task. They had to figure out how to get some food to them because once they were there, they were there.
They're there. There were lots of folks
they
that
couldn't
were just
get
trapped,
in. They
so.
figured out they maybe could come in through the Wagner farm and get them some food and water.
Putting McDonald's bags on drones and flying it in.
Order from Amazon.
It sounds funny, but some of that did happen.
It does work. Well, and to be honest, thanks to that drone technology, we saw a lot of assessments on damage and stuff pretty quick.
Of assessments are being done
There's
quick.
a lot of fantastic footage from this flood thanks to those drones and things. So it is things, but really now's the time for patience. Let's patience. It's going to take time as we assess and get things. Things are they're going to work as fast as humanly possible to get things quote unquote back to normal here. But we're looking at some severe damage and we got assessments. We got health and safety to take care of first. That's priority one. And once those needs are addressed, then we can worry about things like repairing roads and stuff like that.
And as we speak, we've got a road department out on some low flow areas. So anything that flows water, those roads probably got blown out. And
Absolutely.
so we've got blade crews out as we speak on the outer line areas of Roswell and trying to get to those first. So.
If anybody out in the county has an issue or anything, is there a a best way to report that kind of stuff, or just call this? Like, is there a more efficient way to do that?
You can go to our website and you can leave an email.
Because I don't want to get you inundated with it.
It'll go to wherever it needs to go. But if you have road issues, feel free to call the road department. As always, if you have issues with the solid waste, that's also taken care of through our road department. Any buildings issues, you can call Alex or our facility maintenance. But yeah, we're there, and we can't be everywhere. So if you see something wrong, let us know, and we'll do our best to either fix it or find out who's responsible for it and try to make sure people are safe.
Absolutely. Of course, don't come by the county buildings. They're all closed today because of the flooding.
But we should be open tomorrow.
Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
Call ahead. We'll obviously we'll announce to the world that it's open today or not open.
Yeah, I'm confident we'll be open tomorrow. Normally we follow the school schedule, and I don't know what the schools are going to be doing tomorrow, but I don't see a reason why the county won't be open. There may be individuals that have to be off because of a personal tragedy, but I
talked with Brian in the 7 o'clock hour, and nothing's official, but just reading tea leaves, they might need one more day for the schools.
Yeah.
So, but that's not, please, I say that, it's not official. Don't kids. I heard it. No school tomorrow. That's not official. That's just what they're thinking. Don't.
Well, and that's one of the reasons we kind of follow school, because we have a lot of people who have children in school. If the children don't go to school, then they need to stay at home. But we do feel that there are some of us can certainly be there and at least provide minimal services, because people are going to start needing assistance again. Today, pretty unlikely anyone's going to need to know their property
description. But people need to get in the building, and you know. And it is. By the way, election season.
Voting is open.
Okay, so you can vote.
You can vote at the Chaves County building. I'm sorry, I meant to bring that up right off.
It's like the post office.
The mall,
Slooner, and nothing will stop it.
You know, that's private property. The mall voting, early voting at the mall, they told us they were going to be closed. We couldn't do anything about that. We were in contact with the Secretary of State yesterday, asking how to do this. We agreed upon the county building voting will be open. Okay. So go vote.
Go, so you can still vote.
Yes. You may have to go in through I'm not sure if the front door's open.
Okay.
But you can still get in there by the voting
place. To be honest, might be a good day to go do that. Like, especially if you're off anyway, because you're, whatever, and we're telling you stay home and stay out of things. Well, stay out of the way. Well, you know what? They can handle you over at the admin building on the south end there, where the big vote here sign is. Don't go through the main entrance. They're not going to let you in. But if you keep going south, you'll see the
on the southwest end.
Yeah, the Casa Maria entrance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
it's the same spot it's been for years, as long as that building's been there. So.
Yeah. But they are open and they're taking votes.
Absolutely. And of course, if you do have any questions about your area, don't hesitate to reach out to your commissioners. This is what they do. If you got some stuff, they'd probably appreciate you giving them a heads up so they understand what's going on in their districts there.
Right.
So,
and first and foremost, be kind to your neighbors.
Absolutely. We're all in this together. You know, this is time for us to do what we do for places like Ruidoso, and every time we have to rally the troops to get something. Well, now we got to rally for ourselves.
Yep.
It's time to rally for Chaves County here,
right.
And to watch out for your neighbors. And you know, if you can help. If you need help, reach out and let those help come to you.
Well,
do
thanks for having us in.
Anytime, anything we can do, any assessments, anything, any commissioners, anybody need anything, a platform to get any kind of word out, please let us. Please don't hesitate to reach out. And Alex, I'm sure you've got your work cut out for you. And
going to get him a nap.
And I imagine your family's probably not going to see a whole lot of you for the next few days.
Yeah, that's right. That's all right. They're understandable.
Well, we appreciate the Palominos allowing him to work for us here. I just want to say Palomino again.
One more time. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. And Bill, thank you guys for keeping us up to date. And like I said, anything else we can do. And folks, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out if you need help or if you can offer help. And like I said, if you want to contribute charity-wise, usually money is probably the best. Reach out to those because that's where they can assess. You know, the water and stuff is appreciated, but guess what? Everybody's bringing water, and we're pretty good on water right now. But there might be some other needs, things like that. So,
thanks.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. All right, 9:52. Let's pause for news and a quick commercial break. I was debating if I had time to play Cowboys Report, and I was like, well, we've had enough suffering this weekend. We don't need any more. So we'll be back. Don't go.
Glad you said it.
We did good this weekend.
That's right. No loss this weekend. We'll be back.
Now, your Pecos Valley News update. I'm Jared Cirillo. The Roswell Air Center remains closed today. All flights are canceled for today because of the severe flooding problems that remain. An assessment of the damage is expected to be done today, and will hopefully determine if flights can resume by this afternoon. In addition, a number of other facilities remain closed, including the Recreation and Aquatic Center, the Roswell Adult Center, Spring River Zoo, Public Library, Museum and Convention Center, the Nancy Lopez Golf Course, and South Park Cemetery. All are closed. There will be no residential trash pickup in Roswell today. Today's collection will be moved to Tuesday and Tuesday's collection to Wednesday. The municipal landfill is also closed today. Municipal courts will not operate. At least 2 people are confirmed dead in the Spring River flooding, according to the New Mexico State Police. The National Guard rescued 290 people, including 38 who had to be hospitalized. Officially, the Weather Service said 5.78 inches of rain fell on Saturday, surpassing the old record of 5.65 inches set back in 1901. 5.78 inches of rain is 4 times the average rainfall rate for the month of October. In Artesia, the traffic lights at 1st and Main are still flashing. The nearby railroad crossing arms are not working properly, so the crossing is closed. A BNSF crew from Roswell was unable to get out of town on Sunday to respond to Artesia, so a crew from Lovington is being dispatched today. This is causing a problem for the main road out of Artesia. Motorists can still cross east on East Hermosa. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Here's the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
In the back of my mind, I'm always thinking, what is the deep state? What is big tech? What does the state-run media mob, have in store for Donald Trump in these final 18 days? You just never know. And after all we've been through in 16 and 20, like, for example, with Hunter Biden's laptop in 2020, 51 former intel officials say it looks like Russian propaganda. They didn't even look at the laptop. They just got a call from Wink and Tony Blinken, and Joe Biden desperately needed a talking point to say, oh, there's all the markings of Russian disinformation. The strategy, the closing argument for the Democrats now is, I hate Trump. Trump is the embodiment of evil. Or Joyless Behar, Trump is a fascist. He wants to send in the military to kill liberals. No, he doesn't.
Check out the Sean Hannity radio show later today, right here.
Hey everyone, Biden may have dropped out of the race, but he's not done just yet. Will he jam through his hidden tax trap at the last second, right before he goes? Where he could raid your retirement funds, supercharge your income taxes, increase utility and gas prices, and inflate costs on things you need to live? Some or all of this could affect you or your family in one way or another. So if you want to wait and see, you may as well kiss your retirement savings goodbye. The good news is you can get prepared, but you better hurry. Reach out to Goldco today to learn how precious metals could help you protect yourself and your family. They're offering you a free 2024 gold and silver kit, plus up to a 10% instant match and bonus silver on qualified accounts. All you have to do is visit HannityGold.com. HannityGold.com. Your retirement funds, income taxes, gas prices could all be affected. Visit HannityGold.com. That's HannityGold.com.
Paid for by Goldco.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Jeremy House. Israel's war against the Hamas and Hezbollah militant groups has been expensive. Now the painfully high financial costs are raising concerns about the long-term effect of the fighting on the country's economy. New GoFundMe tools will make it easier to circulate causes across online platforms in a push to cater toward younger generations. The crowdfunding site hopes to meet digital natives in the online spaces where they frequently advocate. Voters in Arizona and Massachusetts are set to decide whether employers should be able to continue to pay tipped workers, such as servers and bartenders, in a lower minimum wage than non-tipped workers. And workers at 7 CVS pharmacies in Southern California have gone on strike for better pay and health care and to protest what they say is bad faith contract bargaining by the company. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Jeremy House.
I've heard it said, speaking my mind is easy, speaking it tactfully, not so much. Hi, this is Pastor Troy and Julie Smotherman for The Joy of Marriage.
Proverbs 15:15 says, a gentle answer deflects anger, but harsh words make tempers flare.
Sometimes my greatest accomplishment is keeping my mouth shut. There are times when we argue that it would be easy to lash out. So I have a choice to make. I can either feed the fire or quench it with my words.
Julie and I have learned there's going to be arguments, but we've learned to fight and argue, not to be right, but to get the situation right.
So the next time you're in an argument, try saying something kind from a genuine heart to bring peace in your marriage.
If you have any questions or would like further information about the Joy of Marriage Ministry, please go to jomconference.com.
So your pecans aren't as big and bountiful as they used to be? Well, what would Jim Gill do?
Hi, this is Ben from Roswell Seed Company. Few people knew as much about pecans as Jim Gill. And if he were here today, he'd tell you it was time to fertilize. He'd tell you just what you need and show you how to use it. Then he'd make some joke about your neighbors making fun of your nuts.
So when there's trouble with your pecans, head for Roswell Seed Company and ask them, what would Jim Gill do?
Central Valley Electric is continually learning and advancing technology that improves electric service, reliability, and safety, and in turn enhancing the quality of life for members that we serve in our local communities. CVE offers an account management program called Smart Hub that allows members to track their usage, set up convenient pay methods, and the ability to manage their energy use with smart technologies. A secure system such as Smart Hub is an easy tool to use. To sign up, visit cvecoop.org and click Smart Hub to get started.
Your home for Armed American Radio is 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
And that's going to do it for us. If you missed any part, go back, ksvptv.com, click on the Mornings with Mike Winter's channel. We had interviews with city, county, and school as well. So hopefully lots of information to be had. Have an amazing day. Stay safe. Keep clean up. We'll talk to you bright and early tomorrow.
Breaking news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. On the campaign trail, Kamala Harris seeks to win over swing state Republicans while Donald Trump is visiting storm-bruised North Carolina. Correspondent Jennifer King has more.
With 2 weeks to go in the presidential